Right, welcome back to the Aviva Stadium. Many apologies for a brief and slight technical problem, but we are live and we are ready to go, and you have not missed a thing. A rousing rendition of the anthems. And Tommy Bowe, Grand Slam winning Irish wing. You saw a very emotional Peter O'Mahony singing the Ireland anthems.
Well, it was very interesting that Jude mentioned that there was a little few whispers wondering that this could be the end of Peter O'Mahony's international career. Of course, he is the captain of the Ireland team here today, an absolute talisman and such a leader of this team. Of course, he got that yellow card last weekend, and there's a lot of question marks should Ryan Baird come in to start. But Peter O'Mahony he's well used to this sort of speculation. He's so used to so many players and pundits and fans questioning, is he the man to be in the Ireland six? And every time he bats them away. And of course, he is a proud leader of this team and ready to try and lead them to a championship in Dublin today.
Absolutely fascinating. If this is to be the end of an absolutely extraordinary international career. There's a title to win first, though, for Ireland, as referee Matthew Carley of England says to Finn Russell, let's go to work. And it's taken in by Ireland in their own 22, and their outstanding number 8, Caelan Doris. Ireland 0, Scotland 0, opening seconds on Radio 5 Sports Extra. We'll be joined by 5 Live as the 3 o'clock footballs come to an end, but you will not miss a thing. The rugby, the football, we've got you covered on BBC Sounds as Scotland counter-attack through Blair Kinghorn. He finds Duhan van der Merwe, hat-trick a few weeks back against England. Ireland are over that ball. They get the holding on penalty. Perhaps ever so slightly debatable about going over the top versus holding on, but Tommy Bowe, referee Carley, decided the first offence was Scotland not releasing. Penalty Ireland, way out of range, but Crowley can take Ireland into Scottish territory.
Yeah, Crowley, good opportunity to get Ireland into the Scottish half, though. But very interesting off Ireland's clearance to Finn Russell. He tried to move it infield to Duhan van der Merwe and Blair Kinghorn, who are so dangerous. And they've obviously seen from that England match against Ireland last weekend, if they kick deep, there's lots of space to counter-attack. There's lots of areas to really hurt this Irish team, but when they do that, they have to hold on to the ball, not give away penalties.
No, I've just seen that turnover again. Scotland are going to have to be so hot at the breakdown. You know, there's so many threats there from an Irish point of view. If Scotland want to get a foothold in the game, they've got to be able to keep their ball.
And Ireland's line out doesn't quite work. They do eventually get it back on their side, and Bundy Aki tidies up that messy ball and clatters into Darge just short of the 22. Irish possession, early stages. 5 Sports Extra live at the Aviva Stadium as Ireland and their forward pack drive on. To the right they come, Gibson Park, Doris. Little ball was knocked on, and Russell sensibly clears his lines. And Ireland scoot around in the backfield. Here's Jordan Lama thrust into the team at the last minute. He's off on a mazy run. He's caught well by Hugh Jones. That's a good counter-ruck from Scotland. Oh, he thought they might get something out of that, Fraser, but Ireland have just about resourced it.
Yeah, great chase by Scotland, great pressure at the breakdown. Ireland just doing enough just to keep hold of it, and then they're straight back into their exit shape.
Can Scotland start well? Can they sustain it? There is a lot you need to beat this Ireland team, especially here at the Aviva Stadium, as Gibson Park pops it into the box. Lovely mild afternoon here in the Irish capital. Scotland through Ben White, who's back in the team and driven on by George Turner wearing number 2, just short of the halfway line in centre field. Bit of a cagey but fascinating opening 3 minutes in, as the noise builds up around the Aviva, which you'll be pleased to hear, Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, impressed by Scotland so far. They're 100% up for this battle. Brilliant line speed by them off the kick chase. They've tried to put it up in the air into Ireland, just outside Ireland's 22, but Scotland have knocked it on, advantage to Ireland.
They've knocked it on, but it wasn't claimed cleanly by Crowley, which will be encouraging for Scotland. But again, their error count's got to be super low, hasn't it?
There's been 2 up and unders there claimed by Scotland. This is another opportunity. Gibson Park trying to get it out of his own half, but again Blair Kinghorn getting up over James Lowe.
Does well. He's tackled by Peter O'Mahony. Van der Fleer making a nuisance of himself at the breakdown in his idiosyncratic red scrum cap. Pierre Schumann, he had a bit of a cry of shoo, so there's a little bit of a Scottish support, more than a little bit. There's plenty of Scottish support in the Aviva Stadium, looking to see if their team can do something historic and win a triple crown, their first since 1990, and win on Irish soil for the first time in 14 years. This time Crowley does take it in the backfield, gives some park to Dan Sheehan just outside his 22, but encouraging stuff so far physically from the Scots, Fraser Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the game here, the kick battle. England put a lot of pressure on James Lowe and Gibson Park last week in terms of their exits. See Scotland again putting a lot of pressure on Andy Christie, brilliant charge down there.
Charge down by Christie, and it runs out of play.
Some timing on that.
I know, yeah. But that is it. I mean, Scotland will see that's their access into the game. Can you really force Ireland to mistakes on their exits? Can you get opportunities to play off set piece in their half?
And we know that James Lowe, his left foot has been an unbelievable way of getting Ireland clear in their lines, but Scotland read that one.
Well, big Irish line out, just 5 metres from their own line. O'Mahony at the front, goes off the top. Oh, it's a free kick. It's a free kick, an infringement by Ireland, and it means Scotland have it 5 metres out, driven on by Ferguson, then it's been ripped by Ireland, and Dan Sheehan storms away with it. Over the 22 goes Sheehan. It's all happening back to Crowley.
Yep, thank you, all on.
And now Blair Kinghorn in the backfield. What an opportunity that was for Scotland as Kinghorn counter-attacks and goes over the halfway. But a 5 metre tap penalty or tap free kick, Fraser Brown, what a chance.
Just errors for Scotland. I mean, Scotland are getting opportunities, but they've got to be able to take them. So, a squint throw or a not 5 by Ireland there. Scotland have got an opportunity 5 minutes out. They've got to make the most of that. They can't afford Ireland to just be able to get back out their 22.
And again, we spoke before this match about whenever it comes to these games, you need your senior players to play to the top level. Again, a kick there by Finn Russell, way too easily gathered by James Lowe, an opportunity for him to clear his lines. But yes, Scotland have absolutely come to throw everything here at this Irish team, but they have to be clinical, they have to take their chances.
Ireland on the line.
So it's a line out to Scotland. Well, good start here, Ian. Ireland 0, Scotland 0, 6 minutes gone, but we said, could Scotland start well? Could they sustain it? They have started well, they've hassled, they've harried, they have Ireland in a spot of bother, but still pointless. 6 minutes gone, Ireland 0, Scotland 0. As Scotland win the line out on the halfway line. Good drill from the Scots.
That's a tackle, no hands.
And I suppose Fraser Brown, it's almost treating it like a batter building their innings, 5 runs by 5 runs. Can Scotland just sustain their tempo, their accuracy, 5 minutes by 5 minutes? They've certainly done well so far if they can tidy up those little errors.
It's that consistency, they've got to, if they have good moments in the game and they don't get something from it, they've got to reset and go again and just try and keep building good moment after good moment. They can't afford 2 or 3 minutes where they take their foot off the gas and give Ireland the opportunity to get into the game.
As you say that, James Lowe's given a penalty away, and I don't want to put words in your mouths, guys, you've been there and done it. Got to kick the goal here, haven't they, Scotland, away from home at the Aviva?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Scotland have been guilty in this championship of not taking those easy points on offer, and we just see Finn Russell point to the post and having a shot at 3.
Again, Ireland's discipline really letting them down. There's been so much talk about this Irish team and their attack and their defence, how they're playing such amazing rugby, but a huge concern for Andy Farrell is their discipline. They've conceded 45 penalties in just the last 4 games. Now, it was only 8 last weekend, but they were in really crucial areas. And this, again, you clear your lines. You can't be giving away soft penalties like that inside your own half. And a real, I suppose, simple kick here for Finn Russell. I'm saying that as I hope I give him the curse.
Simple kick, I mean, yeah, fair enough. Tommy, high standards. I mean, it's just 40 odd metres out. He's barely missed all championship. Oh, lovely stuff, Finn Russell.
Commentator's curse.
Never in doubt.
No, the anti-curse. Yeah, the commentator's kiss, let's call it.
Well done, Finn Russell, because he is, to be fair, he's prolific from the ground. Unbelievable kick by him, and Scotland now lead 3-0. And to be fair, they deserve it in the opening 8 minutes.
Just on the discipline thing, Ireland have been so good from a discipline point of view over the last couple of years. What is it? Because it is a dramatic change over the course of this championship.
This season, it's something that they would always be below. You're talking very low single figure digits in penalties, but this season it's 45, so well over 10 each game.
Backwards.
Scotland lead. Finn Russell, who's just missed once all championship. He has been dead-eye from the tee. We know what he can do with ball in hand, but
you're pushing the
I tried my best.
Practically faultless, especially when he's backed by Tommy Bowe to the hill. Ireland 0, Scotland 3, 9 minutes gone. It's Ireland dare we say, get together their first bit of proper phase play. It's still 40 odd metres out as Crowley prods it through, and that gets a round of applause from Brian O'Driscoll just to our left. I looked to my left. Well, who's clapping that? It's the greatest Irish player of all time, Brian O'Driscoll, working for ITV as one of them as he drives Crowley, Scotland back into their own 22 and just calms things down for the Aviva.
Yeah, and just what you need from your out half. There's been so much talk going into this campaign. How would this Irish team cope without Johnny Sexton, their talismanic leader, talismanic 10? Jack Crowley has stepped into that position with aplomb, but it was a shock from last weekend. Although he went well, it's a case of trying to settle the nerves in this game.
From the winger.
That's a solid exit from Scotland. Off the top line-up ball, Russell goes for distance over touch and asks James Lowe to run it back, and the winger obliges. Centre field, Tyburn from Gibson Park. To the right they come. Snappy service as always from Gibson Park. Azaki throws half a dummy and almost gets through, but good tackling by Christie. Again, Ireland just trying to work their shape. They trail by 3. A winner or draw, they win the title here in Dublin. They go back to back as Lowe prods it through. Shades of Crowley a moment ago. Another decent kick, and again Scotland a peg back.
Yeah, nice play by Ireland. Just multi-phase, trying to find the gaps in this Scottish defence. Scotland coming up very hard and actually defending very, very well. So why take the punishment when you can put the ball in behind them, put that pressure back onto the Scottish line out?
Yeah, I think Scotland will feel comfortable defending Ireland's shape, 40-50 metres away from their try line. Interesting on the last exit from Scotland, deliberately not kicking the ball off, so not trying to give Ireland a platform to launch from set piece.
Nicely done by Scotland at the line out. Turner to Christie, who wins his 8th cap today, been tearing it up for Saracens and been a real find for Scotland. Bird's almost knocked out by the ball, but it's in the possession of Lama. Dazzling footwork from the Leinster man. A late call up to the side, winning cap number 32, Crowley. Robbie Henshaw almost through. Again, Scotland make the tackle, but not before Henshaw crosses the gain line. Lowe's involved, as he always is, and a penalty advantage as Scotland drift offside. 22 for Gibson Park. Ireland looking for their first points as Andrew Porter puts his head down. 15 in from touch, 22. Gibson Park comes through and again finds Lowe, who again prods it through. It goes out of play, no advantage, and now Tommy Bowe, as Matt Carley tells the Scots, you were never onside. I think Crowley's going to prod it into the corner. I don't think he even wants to take the kick on.
Yeah, he's only 6 metres from the touchline. A nice opportunity to put the ball into the corner. Ireland obviously getting that defence, but I want to see this Irish team go through phases again. Last weekend, Ireland only had 25-30% of possession, it seemed at times. We never got to see them really attack that English defence. So they're getting themselves into position now. An opportunity now 5 metres out from the Scottish line with a good looking line out. Dan Sheehan with the ball in his hands.
Again, it's just clever attack from Ireland, utilising the short side. Scotland have only got 1 or 2 defenders down that short side, and Ireland just flooding it and finding those easy balls in behind.
Big line out for Ireland. They can be ruthless from here. Sheehan, nicely worked down the short side. Dan Sheehan bundled out of touch. Excellent Scottish defence. They opted not to maul the Irish, where they scored a couple against Wales a few weeks back. Wait for this little move at the front, Tommy. Scotland were just about alive to it.
Well, interesting, Fraser, you tell us about this, because Scotland would have expected the driving maul. A nice little decoy play by Ireland, but great defence by Scotland.
Just great defence. Duan van der Merwe there, just up in the line. It was great play by Ireland.
Oh, they've lost the line out, Scotland, and Dan Sheehan scored. It's a try for Ireland. It's a big moment in the Aviva, and Scotland's disappointment etched on their faces. And just as you come to us, Deno, Ireland have scored, and the Aviva Stadium is on its feet, and it came through a Scotland error. Scotland did so well to stop Ireland initially at the line out, but then from Scotland's own throw, they missed their man, and Dan Sheehan, the Ireland hooker, who scored a couple of tries on Grand Slam Day last year, has scored another one to put Ireland in the lead. 13 minutes gone, Ireland 5, Scotland 3, as Jack Crowley lines up the kick at goal. And after a strong Scottish start, that Tommy Bowe is exactly what Ireland would have wanted.
Yes, Scotland had an opportunity 5 metres out from Ireland's line. Unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalise on this. Again, it was down to their error. an overthrow in the line out. Dan Sheehan is such a big lump. He scores so many tries off the back of mauls. They won't come much easier than that.
10th try for Dan Sheehan. This time last year he scored 2 as Ireland swept to the Grand Slam. It won't be a Grand Slam today, but it might well be a title. Crowley for 7-3. He tags on the 2 and Ireland lead. And in commentary with us today, Grand Slam winner Tommy Bowe, one of the greats of Irish rugby, and a man with over 60 caps for Scotland, and someone who was at the heart of the last time a Scotland team beat Ireland in the Six Nations, Fraser Brown. And Fraser, from a Scotland point of view, how frustrating is that? Good start to the game, but a big mistake gifting Ireland a try.
Yeah, just not what Scotland needed. They started well. They controlled Ireland around the halfway pretty well. Again, took care of that short line out, get possession back, and then just that lapse in concentration, overthrow from George Turner, and then all of a sudden they've given Ireland a big foothold into the game.
My question mark on that as well, Fraser, is an overthrow 5 metres out from your line. Is that not where you need to go a little bit safer, particularly because Ireland didn't even put up a pod?
It's hard. Teams will just have routines 5 metres out, so a lot of the time we see the ball going over the 15-metre line. Scotland can't do that because Sheehan's marked up at the back, so it's very risky, so they have to go to that pod. That's something they'll have executed hundreds and hundreds of times across the years. It's just an overthrow, it's just an error. They happen, unfortunately. Scotland now have to build their way back into this game.
And what an opportunity for them to do that as Kyle Steyn comes off his wing and is chopped down in centre field. Finn Russell, nice little delay to Kinghorn, who almost got away, and then he could have had a 2-on-1 with Van der Merwe. Backwards it went as Ben White fumbled with the ball. But you really feel Scotland have to take all their chances here at the Aviva, a place no Six Nations team has won in 3 years. Scotland trail 7-3. If you're just joining us on 5 Live, a win for Ireland, they're champions. A draw and they're champions. A bonus point and they're most likely champions. So Scotland needs something special to stop the title staying in Dublin. But a triple crown is on the line for the Scots. They've not done that in over 30 years, and they've got penalty advantage as Andy Christie drives up just short of the 22. Looking good in their phase play here, Scotland, as Schumann drives on. There for White, out to Dempsey, Russell's in a bit of space, that's where they want him. Hugh Jones on the wide expanses, tackled despairingly by Gibson Park, but Scotland asking questions of Ireland as Dempsey gives it to Russell and now co-captain Rory Darge, the 2 skippers combining there for Scotland. But Ireland look pretty good defensively here as Van der Merwe is felled by Aki. No advantage. Penalty Scotland. Bang in front. Fraser Brown got to take the points again.
Yeah, take the points again. 2 teams that are so comfortable ball in hand from an attacking point of view. Well played by Scotland, just going through the phases, running the passes, getting into that 13 channel, buying that offside penalty. So just excellent play by Scotland, buying that penalty. It's a really quick way for them to get themselves get back into the game, make it 7-6.
Yep, Russell is going to go for goal. We will have a bit of time before the kick, so let's bring in Aaron Paul, who's watched an Ipswich procession at Portman Road, Aaron.
Yeah, goals from Broadhead, Burgess, and 2 each from Omari Hutchinson and Ali Al-Hamidi. See Ipswich go second and to within a point of Leicester City in some style. Ipswich 6, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Nice one, Aaron. What a win for Ipswich at Portman Road. All the 3 o'clock full times are in, as we heard from Ian Dennis and Mark Warburton. Luton 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Burnley 2, Brentford 1, and in the earlier quarter-final in the FA Cup, Wolves 2, Coventry 3, two goals from Coventry after 90 to send them to Wembley. What a win for the Sky Blues, as Russell in his dark blue puts Scotland to within a point, and that's exactly what they needed, Fraser Brown, after that try.
It's so key for Scotland. Ireland score in 7s, they score in 5s and 7s. They're the top try scoring team in the championship. Scotland can't chase that early, taking the 3 points, 3, 6, 9 if they have to, building their way into the game, not let Ireland stretch out that lead.
Well, one of our featured games in League One was at Peterborough. You got full time, Ellen Ellard.
Peterborough 0, Portsmouth 1, 31 shots, just 1 goal. In form, Kashini Yengi picking the right side of the Peterborough United keeper on the counter to keep his side 5 points clear at the top. Peterborough 0, Portsmouth 1.
Thanks very much, Ellen. If you want Fulham Spurs from the Premier League, that will be over on Sports Extra from 5:30. We'll then have loads of updates of Manchester City against Newcastle in the FA Cup quarter-final, and then commentary of the second half from the Etihad at the conclusion of matters here in Dublin. Almost 20 minutes gone. The middle match of Super Saturday, already a famous win for Italy, as we were hearing on Sports Extra earlier. beating Wales 24-21 to consign Wales to the wooden spoon and their worst campaign in 21 years. England are in Lyon later to play France as Ireland attack. Lovely ball from Nash to Aki. Listen to the Aviva Stadium roar. They appreciate that interplay as Van der Fleer finds Crowley, and then the Ireland forward starts to come in waves. Nice snappy pass, Gibson Park. Crowley on the gain line. Here's the relentless Tadhg just short of the 22. 1 point in it. A win for Ireland and their champions as the captain Peter O'Mahony drives on the 34-year-old. What a servant he's been to Irish rugby. Can Scotland keep their discipline? Can Ireland come up with the killer play? Maybe it's going to come from Big Joe McCarthy as Scotland are trying to turn that ball over, but still there for Ireland. Henshaw shapes a kick, but he didn't, and he's tackled well by Russell. 20 metres out, to the right they come. Crowley, they're using that kick a lot, and Kinghorn, did he touch it? No, I think we're going to go back for a 22 as we do finally have full time at Burnley, Maz.
Yeah, and that red card for Reguilon and subsequent penalty scored by Brun Larson, proving pivotal for Varner adding the second Burnley goal after the break. Oh yeah, pulling one back late on. But Burnley have their first league win of 2024, full time after 13 minutes of stoppage time here at Turf Moor. They've beaten 10-man Brentford 2-1.
Thanks very much, Maz Faruqi at Turf Moor. What a win that is for Burnley. And we've also got full time at Celtic St Johnstone, Scottish Premiership. Gavin Wallace.
Goals from Kyogo Kun and Forrest. There was a consolation from Saints Connor Smith. Means though that Celtic go top of the Scottish Premiership. Celtic 3, St Johnstone 1.
Thank you very much, Gavin at Celtic Park. A few stoppages here, Tommy Bowe, just some running repairs.
Yeah, Andrew Porter, the Irish prop, just looks like he's struggling with a bit of a shoulder here at the minute. Ireland going through the phases. When they get into the Scottish 22, you kind of think that hold on to the ball. It's worked very well for them putting the ball in behind Scotland a bit further out, but once you get into the Scottish 22, they will give up penalties. They just need to hold on to the ball. Jack Crowley there kicking the ball dead gives Scotland an easy exit.
Tough afternoon for Stoke. Full time, Stoke Norwich, Lee Blakeman.
Stoke 0, Norwich 3. Sargent and Sara in the first half. Barnes got the third on the hour mark. Norwich stays sixth. Stoke just 2 points above the drop zone. Stoke 0, Norwich 3.
Thanks very much, Lee Blakeman. You've not missed anything here at the Aviva Stadium. Stoppages as both sets of forwards got some treatment, and Fraser Brown, Scotland and Glasgow hooker, part of the last Scotland team to beat Ireland in 2017. Scotland after 22 as Blair Kinghorn let that ball run dead from Jack Crowley.
Yeah, heart in the mouth moment for me when the ball went through. Look, Scotland have done really well defensively. Ireland in around their 22, and they're just trying to keep Ireland at bay. Obviously, excellent offload from Nash, which allowed them to get in behind, but Scotland regathered the composure really quickly to see Ireland on the attack again.
And always the noise goes up a bit, doesn't it, when Bundy Aki gets on the ball. He's just been one of Ireland's best players the last couple of years. So is this man, Dan Sheehan, who's got the game's only try, but Scotland are slowing up that ball at the breakdown, and they've won a turnover. I saw the 6 of Rory Darge in there, as you would expect. Russell, beautifully weighted kick, and with the dead ball, with the goal line dropout law, it's really not a disaster if it's dropped down, dotted down dead as it is. So it will be a goal line dropout as we go to Derby Bolton, Charlie Slater.
Derby 1, Bolton 0. Kane Wilson with the only goal. Huge for Derby. They're second in League One and open up a 4-point gap on Bolton in third with 7 games left. Derby 1, Bolton 0.
Thank you very much, Charlie. All the 3 o'clocks coming in here on 5 Live. 21 minutes gone at the Aviva. Ireland 7, Scotland 6. You've got to say, Scotland have had most of this opening quarter, Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking the exact same. We're 21 minutes gone. Scotland will be the happier team between the two, even though they're only trailing by the 1 point. Ireland getting that try by Dan Sheehan, but that was through an error. It wasn't really through consistent pressure by this Irish team. We're not seeing them as dangerous with ball in hand as we have in the past, and Scotland with the majority of territory and possession so far.
The only trouble is, Fraser, we have seen this film before, haven't we? When it comes to Scotland, Ireland have had moments and patches. It's just sustaining it. But so far, not too bad. 7-6 Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, Scotland need to score. You know, they need to take this pressure count, whether it's another opportunity to get 3 or ideally get 7. Like, they need to score a try here. And as I say that, Ireland get the turnover at the breakdown.
Yeah, penalty to Ireland as Duhan van der Merwe went down a bit of a blind alley. Ireland got the penalty. They'll drive now into Scottish territory. 9 minutes past 5 here on 5 Live and Sports Extra for the rugby. It's sports report time normally, so let's run through some of the headlines. Coventry, what a win. Through to the FA Cup semi-finals after scoring a 98th minute winner to beat Wolves 3-2 earlier at Molineux. Manchester City against Newcastle kicks off at 5:30. That's live on BBC One and will be there on 5 Live after we're done here in Dublin. In the Premier League, Luton left it late again to salvage a 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest. Burnley, only their second home win of the season. They won 2-1 against 10-man Brentford. Fulham against Tottenham underway in 20 minutes. That's on Sports Extra in full. In the Championship, Ipswich into second. They thrash Sheffield Wednesday 6-0 as Ireland attack 10-metre line in Scottish territory. Aki drives on. Tom Cleverley, his first match in charge of Watford. They beat Birmingham 1-0 as Peter O'Mahony takes it from Gibson Park. Portsmouth are 5 points clear in League One after a win at Peterborough. League Two leaders Mansfield thrash Bradford 5-1 away. Celtic beat St Johnstone to go back to the top of the Scottish Premiership. And in the other Six Nations match, what a win for Italy, beating Wales 24-22. And that was a couple of late Wales tries to put some gloss on the score. A famous day for Italian rugby, a dark one for Wales as Crowley prods it dead and Scotland will have the scrum back. And we're not quite at that point, Tommy, where I'm going to ask you if Ireland look like they're ever so slightly running out of ideas, but they haven't been able to penetrate particularly so far.
No, Crowley, that's again another possession around the Scottish 22. He's tried to put the ball in behind that Scottish defence, which is obviously like a blanket in front of him. He doesn't see any space. So the space is behind there, but that's twice now he's kicked the ball dead and given Scotland easy out of their territory.
Just Scotland defence have been excellent so far, where at times last week against Italy with a similar shape they got caught narrow, in midfield. You just see them today filling the field. They always look composure, they're in control.
Halfway line for Ireland, who lead by a point. That try from Dan Sheehan rather gifted to them by a Scottish mistake. Gibson Park goes aerial, Russell doesn't take it. Henshaw was after it. He's played at fullback before, Henshaw. He's great in the air for a centre. It's now with Lowe after Scotland cleared their lines. He's on halfway over the Guinness logo. Lowe caught by a couple of Scottish forwards. 7-6 Ireland with only 15 minutes to go till half-time. Crowley wings it out to the aforementioned Henshaw, who's everywhere, hugging the left touchline this time, just inside Scottish territory. Andrew Porter goes inside to Doris. Good tackle, Andy Christie, to stop the rampaging Doris. Gibson Park looks right, he probes left. Henshaw, tackled by Kyle Steyn, and he just manages to drive over the gain line. Scotland, though, mean business at the breakdown, and I do think they're entitled to play that. Yes, they are. Christie's got it, and Russell will kick, and that's sensible. They're going to get a scrum. Oh, they know advantage was over. Well, no, Matt Carley does decide there was no advantage. But again, Fraser Brown, good spoiling from Scotland. If they can stay on the right side of the ref, that's what they need to do.
Yeah, I mean, they've been excellent in that 13 and that wide channel. Ireland clearly trying to tie Scotland defenders in the midfield and then get the ball into the wide channels. And Scotland have just looked calm, they look composed. And Tommy, Ireland just look like they're just struggling to get in behind.
They do this, look like they're struggling with their attack. They're not able to get through the phases and put those short passes together, which we've seen have been so dangerous earlier on in the competition. Again, Jamison Gibson Park in the middle of the pitch. They have great options left and right. He decides to put the ball up into the air. Finn Russell goes up for it. Robbie Henshaw's probably lucky. Robbie Henshaw went 100% for the ball. Finn Russell got into the air though, and Robbie Henshaw didn't. And I think that if you make contact with a man going into the air, you're looking at a penalty and potentially a card. But thankfully the referee, from an Irish point of view, didn't pull him up on it. Probably the fact that Finn Russell, I don't know if he 100% committed for the ball, because if he did and he got taken out in the air, Robbie Henshaw could be facing a time on the sidelines.
I think you're right. I think also that there wasn't a lot of other Irish pressure coming through. Scotland regathered the ball, so it was nice. I like to see the game play. This game's been played at a hell of a speed. The ball's not been going out from a Scotland point of view. Ireland haven't been able to launch through their line out, so ball and play has been high already, and you can see it's taking its toll.
Great insight from Tommy Bowe and Fraser Brown here on 5 Live as Scotland prepare to feed the scrum. And this is what's so fascinating about the Six Nations, Tommy, about sport. Ireland all conquering a few weeks ago. They lose at Twickenham, and then if Scotland can put them under pressure, do you just start to have your confidence dented after a loss, and if you get put under the pump a bit?
Well, there was a question mark put out there during the week, which I thought was quite interesting, that earlier on in the campaign, Ireland got off to such a flyer against France. They were so far ahead against Italy and against Wales that, of course, they're able to throw the ball about and play some exciting rugby. But all of a sudden, against England last weekend, it was a really tight affair. So can they manage that arm wrestle? And as Fraser said earlier on in the commentary, if Scotland are thereabouts going into the 20 minutes, how will this Irish team react to that? We know, listen to the crowd, they want to see more, and they're fully behind their Irish team.
There's always talk around Scotland's attacking ability, the kick counter, Duane van der Merwe, Blair Kinghorn, Finn Russell. But this Scotland team have got this grit, this physicality up front. We saw it last year in the Six Nations for 50 minutes. Again, we've seen it today for the first half an hour.
And they're running it from their own half. Oh, they've got away. Fraser McDowell shrugged off Aki. Can they execute now? Stafford McDowell up to the 22. Great burst on his first Six Nations start. Driven on by Schumann. But it looked there like McDowell was going to get caught by Aki. But he broke the tackle and made 40 metres, Fraser Brown, as Russell then throws a pass that doesn't quite go to hand.
Yeah, it's great footwork from Stafford McDowell just to get away. Ireland done so well off the back of this, though. Within 2 phases, they're back in control. Scotland have to build again and find a way to try and create another opportunity.
Joe McCarthy did so well to just disrupt that line, that maul. So Scotland couldn't get the fast ball that they needed, but they're still on the attack, Scotland.
Yes, Stein drove it up. Now here goes Turner. 7-6 to Ireland, only 12 to go of the half. Ben White's kick, that's clever enough. That will dribble out of play as Scotland this time turn Ireland around, which is what they've done plenty to the Scots, Ireland. But a big moment for a teammate of yours, Fraser Brown, in Stafford McDowell. Maybe an eyebrow-raising selection at number 12 for such a big game, but that will really calm him down. Lovely break.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the talk with Stafford coming in was size, was physicality against Aki. I don't think there's another centre in the URC that passes the ball more than Stafford does. I think he kicks the ball the second most out of the competition as well. So he's a big man, but he has an all-round skill set. Just excellent footwork. Not a lot, but just that little sleight of foot gets him away. Bundy Aki overreads it a little bit and he makes the break.
Can Scotland put Ireland's line out under pressure? They're only, they're under 20 metres from their own line, but they often get these kind of drills bang on Ireland, and they did there as well with Sheehan to burn and then driven on by Ireland to set up a platform. It's going to take their time, aren't they? Through the experience of Gibson Park, age 32, 35 caps, and he hoists it high into the grey but mild Dublin air. Nice hands from Van der Merwe. White now to Kinghorn, who's up from the backfield. What's he got? Oh, that's a decent ball out to Stein, who steps, and he's felled by the centre pairing of Aki and Henshaw. But in the Scottish possession, as Russell finds Andy Christie, who drives on just short of the 10-metre line. Here's Finn again, out the back, but then lost by Van der Merwe, and referee Carley decided it went forward. That's where you've always got to decide whether it's worth playing from there or whether to use the boot. Scotland knock it on Fraser Brown. It will be an Irish scrum just short of the halfway line.
Yeah, and again, it's another example of Ireland just not being as clinical as we used to see from them from an exit point of view. Not getting touched there, giving Scotland an opportunity to counter-attack Tommy, and that's where Scotland can come alive and really cut Ireland to pieces.
I think England did their homework last weekend and kind of spooked this Irish team because they were getting such great success off James Lowe and his cannon left boot, clearing the lines, taking the pressure off the young Jack Crowley at 10. But Scotland are wise to it. James Lowe's not getting the easy opportunities he had, which means the pressure is now on Gibson Park at 9 and Jack Crowley, and they're just not being able to get out of their own half.
And what you've got in this stadium, Tommy, is a sense from the Ireland fans that the team needs them here. There was talk in the week of an Irish procession to the title, and they are still overwhelming favourites to do it. But Scotland have turned up today so far.
They have
7-6 after 30.
Well, that's it. But there's still 1 point in it. It's very, very tight. Ireland will be happy with how things are going, but I think Scotland will be happier.
Yeah, and Ireland are going to get a penalty, and the crowd appreciate that. They wait to work on the Scottish scrum. Fraser Brown has a current
Step up
professional
and then
hooker,
stand
you
up.
can give us the inside on that as Ireland win the penalty.
Okay, number one, up under the pressure.
Yeah, I'm just watching it here. I'm not quite sure that's going the right way. It looked like Tag Farrell was just going straight through the hole for me, but certainly this is going to be a huge area. You know, a lot of attention's gone to Andrew Porter and how he scrums and the angle of his scrummaging, but you have Tag Furlong lying on the far side. You know, excellent scrummager, excellent player. So it's a huge battleground for this game.
And that's where Scotland are trying to take on this Irish team, because they need that parity up front, and so far they are really putting it up to the front row, the likes of the Porter, the Furlongs, who see themselves at the very top of the game.
But it's one thing, Scotland starting well for 30. Can they keep it going, or are Ireland going to strike with 9 minutes left of this first half and really settle a few nerves here in Dublin as they attack just short of the 22 Ireland? This is so often when they come to life. Gibson Park, Big Joe McCarthy drives up into centre field. Gibson Park now fizzes to the right to Van der Fleer, the World Player of the Year in 2022. He's only 15 metres short as Scotland work hard at the breakdown and get their rewards.
Scotland
They force a scrum.
So well there. Again, Ireland are so deadly from strikes, but Scotland just did enough of that second phase just to slow them down.
Yeah, Van der Fleer had the option to give it out the back to Jack Crowley. It was a set piece that you can see that they've worked on in training. Van der Fleer, he's got two men. He's got a man on his outside, a man on his inside, and Jack Crowley out the back. Normally that's where you see giving the ball out the back. They have another decoy play out wide. They had the numbers, but Van der Fleer thought, there you can just see Andy Farrell's reaction to that, hands on head. I don't know if that was to Van der Fleer or just to the referee with the decision that they're made, but yeah, another opportunity for Ireland inside the Scottish 22 that's gone a begging.
Just a reminder to our Sports Extra listeners who have been with us from the start of all the action here at the Aviva Stadium. We'll be going shortly to Craven Cottage for Fulham against Tottenham, London derby in the Premier League. So that's where we'll go shortly on Sports Extra. 5:30 kickoff at the Cottage. So if you want the rugby and you're on Sports Extra, just flick over to 5 Live on your BBC Sounds app, and we will have all the rugby through to the conclusion of Ireland against Scotland, and then on 5 Live we'll be at the Etihad for Manchester City against Newcastle in the FA Cup quarter-final. Who is going to join Coventry City, who are already at Wembley after that stunning 3-2 win at Molineux? Loads of brilliant live sport on 5 Live and Sports Extra as ever on a Saturday afternoon. It's brilliant here at the Aviva. Ireland 7, Scotland 6. 7 minutes to go of a compelling first half as Scotland feed the scrum. White to Russell, who will clear his lines, and he belts it downfield with everything he's got. Finn Russell taken in by Lama. Remember, he's in for Hugo Keenan, and he's clattered by Ben White. Matt Carley happy it was a legal challenge. Porter, halfway line. This is where Scotland need to keep their discipline, and where Ireland will look to make something happen, or maybe just turn Scotland around. Lowe does that, but Russell is expertly positioned, and he kicks looking for grass. He finds grass, so that's a positive for Scotland as Lowe from just outside his 22 tries to get round Russell, but he's caught by the Scotland co-captain, and Ireland will have to try and exit or build some play, Tommy Bowe, from their own territory here.
Yeah, James Lowe, we've spoken about it so many times. He's just got this amazing left boot that seems to find space, but Scotland have it all covered today. Finn Russell in the right place at the right time. James Lowe kicked it right to him, and then Finn Russell put it back with a bang. Scotland still on attack.
Yeah, they're counter-attacking through Carl Steyn, who shrugged off Lowe, and now Ben White has good ball on the halfway line, and yeah, they're going to get penalised there, Scotland. Christie came on a short ball, Schumann didn't give it to him, crossing, penalty Ireland, and you would imagine, Fraser Brown, that if he's got the legs, Jack Crowley will go for goal here to extend Ireland's lead.
You would think so. That's just frustration from Scotland's point of view. You see Pierce Schumann there looking for the ball at the back, expecting that connection with the back at the back. No one's there, and then that's where the crossing comes from.
But those Scottish forwards looking comfortable, ball in hand, happy that Ireland aren't really putting pressure on them, that they can actually give the ball out the back. In the past we would have seen Ireland's line speed coming right up into their faces and hitting them with man on ball. But just at the minute, this Irish defence, they just don't look quite as comfortable as we've seen in time gone by. An opportunity though for Jack Crowley to try and just nudge them that little bit further in front and take the pressure off.
Kind of shades of Twickenham a bit, Tommy. Ireland have been under loads of pressure, but they kept their noses in front, and are extending their lead if he can nail this.
Kept their noses in front. The thing was with England is that they took a lot of their opportunities. When the opportunities came, they were able to score and keep themselves in the game as well. So from Scotland's point of view, the likes of the Van der Merwes, the Hugh Jones, they've had chances in Ireland's 22 and Ireland half, but just have coughed up errors.
5 minutes to go until the break, and Crowley's pulled that. And Kinghorn doesn't touch it down for a goal line. He's going to use his punt to clear, and he does, and that's good work from Kinghorn. And a let-off for Scotland. It was bang in front, but maybe the edge of Crowley's range at 44 metres. So still a point in it as Kinghorn takes that well, and he offloads it up the back to White, who finds Russell, who's almost caught. Alva, can they get away through McDowell? Not quite. He's almost caught there, Stafford McDowell. Listen to the noise round the Aviva. They think Ireland had Scotland on the run there, but Scotland have resourced the ball, and Xander Fagerson drives it up. One of the try scorers in defeat in Rome last weekend. A demoralising loss for Scotland, but they've reacted well in the 36 minutes played so far. Ireland 7, Scotland 6. A win, a draw, or most likely any kind of bonus point, and the title stays in Dublin, but they are being made to work hard here, are the men in green. Nash sets it up just short of the halfway. That ball was then loose, so Van der Fleer plays it. He then loses it, and this is good energy, Fraser Brown, from Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a slight chaoticness about Scotland when they play, and I think the balance for them is just playing on the right side. We saw Blair Kinghorn receiving that high ball, and then they offload out the bag.
Thinking he's in the south of France with
Toulouse
exactly.
Again. And it just put them in trouble. But great response off the back of that. Good kick, great chase, good pressure at the breakdown.
And then Ireland, where they're normally so professional, so efficient at the breakdown. Josh Van der Fleer, their former World Player of the Year, just trying to offload the ball, trying to get the ball away from the ruck to speed up Ireland's ball. Unfortunately, knocked it on. And Scotland again with a set-piece scrum inside Ireland's half, and a nice foundation to try and put this Irish defence under pressure.
It's probably a tale of errors. We spoke beforehand about Scotland had to be error-free to have a chance today, and they largely have, whereas Ireland, conversely, there's been a lot of errors in their game.
It's gone exactly the way Scotland would have wanted it. They want to force Ireland into these errors, which is exactly what they've done. Maybe Scotland would like to have less errors from themselves and be a little bit more clinical when they have the ball, but they are right in this game. There's obviously 1 point in it. We're 3 minutes away from half-time, and if Scotland were to score now going into half-time, the pressure really is on Ireland, because there's so much expectation in this Aviva Stadium. Everybody here has come today, St. Patrick's weekend, expecting we're going to be celebrating a Six Nations victory, and if Scotland can get themselves in front, all of a sudden that little bit of doubt creeps into this Irish team.
Great noise around the Aviva as Scotland prepare to feed the scrum. A beautiful sliver of sunshine appears across the upper tier of the stand across the way from us. On St. Patrick's weekend, can Ireland win another Six Nations crown? Or will it be a famous day for Scottish rugby? 7-6 to Ireland. Oh, Gibson Park tracked that move really well and almost forced an error from Scotland. So that set play didn't go to hand because of the clever work from the Ireland scrum half. But in Scotland possession, halfway line, 90 seconds left of the first half as Ben White loses it, and referee Matt Carley says that will be an Ireland scrum on halfway, and a chance maybe, Tommy Bowe, for Ireland to put some pressure on the Scottish scrum and perhaps force a late penalty.
We spoke about the big players stepping up in the key moments. Unbelievable play by Jamison Gibson Park. He tracked the ball up behind the Scottish attack because he knew that pass was going to be given out the back. He hit Finn Russell man and ball, and Scotland had the opportunity. There was space out wide, but just that tackle really stopped that Scottish attack, and wonderful play by Jamison Gibson Park, but Scotland be frustrated.
Yeah, Scotland have run that already in this championship, so I wonder if that's something that Ireland have seen, and they've come up with that ploy because they've emptied out the short side, so there's no Scotland backs left on that short side. He doesn't have to stay and hold and try and defend that pass going back to the short side, so he can run and chase that ball down.
But these matches, these are championship matches, championship moments in the game. You think 1 or 2 minutes away from half time, that's when the big players, that's when the big plays happen, and that's when the momentum really changes. Gibson Park has done Ireland a solid there.
30 seconds left of this first half. Ireland 7, Scotland 6. The scrum engages, Gibson Park feeds, it's nicely locked. Use it, says the referee. big roar round the Aviva. Last attack of this opening half as Aki finds Crowley, who's round the back. James Lowe's off his wing. Listen to the reaction from the Dublin crowd. Gibson Park out to Tadhg Byrne sticks his head down. He drives on. There for Gibson Park with a point in it, Aki. But not a plethora of options which we normally associate with Ireland. Scotland have done very well defensively. Just that one try, and that was from a Scottish error. Trying to work it down the right, Robbie Henshaw, a hero here a year ago as Ireland won the Grand Slam. Looking for a title this evening as Doris drives into Fagerson. Scott Cummings was doing some tackling too. Crowley out to Peter O'Mahony, perhaps playing his last game here in an Ireland shirt. He drops it on the ball 7 style, but he's then wrestled to the ground. This is a good physical effort from Scotland, the heavy underdogs here. As Gibson Park with the clock red, ready for half-time as Doris drives. And again Scotland are managing to stop Ireland on the gain line. Porter, he's ever so slightly isolated, so he sends it back to Aki. What can Lama do with his dazzling footwork? Nice play O'Mahony. Dan Sheehan's up the touchline, but Scotland have it, and Kinghorn kicks it clear, and he's after it, and they're going to have to hack it out here, Ireland, for half-time. Or are they? Oh, Kinghorn came in on Nash. It was maybe high. Referee Carley said it was. Boos round the Aviva, cheers and whistles to boot. As Ireland might attack, Crowley will chip for low. All on the bounce, gathered by Scotland. But we're going to go back for a penalty against Kinghorn. Did you see anything, Fraser Brown, to suggest it might be more than a penalty?
No, I think it's just, it was just an arm around the neck, but the Irish player's on the floor. I'm not quite sure who it is.
Calvin Nash, you would think we're in the red here. He could have easily just kicked the ball out into touch. He's gone down on the ball. Blair Kinghorn has to let him get up. Blair Kinghorn tries to seatbelt tackle him, catches him around the neck. I think it's only just going to be a penalty, but it's taken 40 minutes really to see the game come alive like that. Finally we see it open up, and it's a penalty for Ireland. I would expect it will be a kick to the corner and both teams will go in at half-time, but let's listen to hear what Matt Carley's going to say.
I think he's happy. Yeah, he's happy with just a penalty. Yeah, I did think Nash would just belt it out into the stands, but he went to play from his own 22, and actually it looks as if Crowley wants to keep playing. He doesn't want to tap it and boot it into the stands. He's going to take it up to halfway, and Ireland will get another attack. We've played 3 minutes over the red here.
Tell you, there were 16 forwards on the pitch, so would have been quite happy to see that just get booted straight out.
Yeah, interesting from Ireland though, because there's 42 minutes on the clock. As you say, they're ahead by 1 point, but they feel maybe, as we talked about, these are the championship moments. If they can get into the Scottish half, eke out a penalty, it just gives them that extra little bit of a cushion.
Two huge football matches underway. 5:30 kickoffs. Fulham Spurs at Craven Cottage. That's live on Sports Extra. And then Manchester City Newcastle from the Etihad. We'll have all the first half updates with John Murray, and then John and Chris Waddle will pick up the commentary at full time here in Dublin. And then after that, it's all roads leading to Lyon for the Six Nations finale between France and England. Have Ireland got one more attack in them this half? Good counter-rucking Scotland, but there for the Irish and Tadhg Furlong. 10-metre line inside the Scotland half. And now it's whether Scotland can hang on or whether Ireland can strike one more blow deep into added time at the end of this first half to send them one step closer to the Six Nations title. Well, I was going to say good hands, but eventually it was thrown out of play by Doris, and to the relief of all those forwards, Fraser Brown, it is half-time and it's in the balance. Ireland 7, Scotland 6.
Just breathless. That last 5 minutes, just absolutely breathless, end to end. You know, Scotland working so hard defensively to try and shut down Ireland's attack, try and slow it up at the breakdown, try and not give them the options, those little seams that we like to see going to the line and putting the forwards through.
Yeah, interested by Ireland. They decided to play on. They went through a number of phases, but were going nowhere. That final play, throwing the ball out into touch, really summed up Ireland's first half performance. And we talked about this, Ireland against England last weekend. Ireland were ahead just about against England last weekend, and they all sprinted off the pitch into the change room. They all walked off the pitch here today, which I think it doesn't look positive from an Irish point of view. They look a little bit deflated.
Well, no hint, Mark Chapman, of an Irish procession yet. Might be some interested England players watching on in Lyon if Scotland can win this by more than 7, but lots of rugby still to play. Half time, Ireland 7, Scotland 6.
And we have France-England from 8 o'clock tonight here on 5 Live at the end of the FA Cup tie between Manchester City and Newcastle. That's just got underway. John Murray.
3 minutes played here at the Etihad Stadium. It is Manchester City, the holders, 0. Newcastle United 0 as Haaland is bundled over by Botman 7 or 8 yards inside the Newcastle half. The big question here is because Livramento has got an injury, so he's not involved. So Newcastle have started with 3 central defenders, Lascelles, Schär and Botman, with Murphy as the right wing back, Dan Burn on the left hand side. But what was interesting was Newcastle actually warmed up with a back 4 with Schär at right back. And at the moment, I have to say, Newcastle look as though they are perhaps struggling to come to terms with a different system. So Manchester City all over them, but it's 0-0 in the early stages.
First FA Cup quarter-final of the weekend was a cracker. Wolves 2, Coventry of the Championship 3. Some reaction to come from that. In the Premier League today, Brentford down to 10 men very early on in their game at Turf Moor. Reguilon sent off for what the referee perceived as a professional foul. Burnley won by 2-1. Luton and Nottingham Forest finished 1-1. Nottingham Forest still under the threat of the point deduction, remember. A reaction from both those two games to come, but it means at the bottom of the table, going from 15th down, Brentford have 26, Everton have 25. They have a game in hand on everybody around them. Forest have 25. Luton have 22. Burnley have 17. And Sheffield United, who also have a game in hand, have 14. The tea time game in the Premier League is at Craven Cottage. Fulham against Tottenham. Henry Moran.
Early stages goalless. This time a week ago, Spurs were 5 points behind Aston Villa. Win today, and they'll be above them and up to 4th. They bring in Dragusin for a first start in place of the injured Van der Ven. Fulham, meanwhile, have been excellent at home this season, and they've had the game's first real chance as well. Muniz' shot blocked. Pereira's follow-up deflected just wide. 6 minutes gone. Fulham 0, Spurs 0.
Reaction to all the day's football to come after Jill McKenzie at 24 minutes to 6.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Sainsbury's has apologised for failing to deliver the vast majority of its online orders today because of a technical issue related to software updates last night. Some stores have also been having problems with contactless payments. Separately, Tesco has also apologised for cancelling some deliveries. Vaughan Gething is set to succeed Mark Drakeford as the First Minister of Wales after winning the Welsh Labour leadership contest. Mr Gething said his victory represented a new page in the country's history. A US charity says its team has completed the unloading of almost 200 tonnes of food in the first aid delivery by sea to Gaza. The focus now moves to distributing it safely. The United Nations is warning that nearly a third of children under 2 in northern Gaza are acutely malnourished. Humza Yousaf says most Scottish seats in the next general election will be a straight fight between the SNP and the Tories. The SNP leader was speaking at a party event in Perth. Recent polling suggests the SNP and Labour have similar levels of support. And the timetable's been announced for the world's biggest general election. People in India will vote in 7 stages, starting next month and ending in June. Almost 970 million people are eligible to take part.
No one knows what it's like to be in prison when you haven't done nothing wrong.
This is the untold story of Annette Hewins.
Arrested over the murder of a mother and her 2 young children.
I need to know why I was charged for a crime that I hadn't done.
A shocking miscarriage of justice.
There is no credible case against Annette Hewins. It is a disgrace.
Finding the truth really matters to me because Annette was my mum.
Annette, how do you feel to come out today?
I want to be with my kids and my husband.
Wrongly accused. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back in Dublin shortly for the second half in the Six Nations, with Ireland leading Scotland by 7 points to 6. Let's focus on the day's football. Cracking FA Cup quarter-final at Molineux as Coventry scored twice in second half injury time to beat Wolves 3-2. Ellis Sims got his second of the game after 97 minutes. That made it 2-2. And then Hadji Wright got the winner for Mark Robbins' side.
O'Hare gets away from João Gomez, crossing to the box. Sims lays it back. I don't believe it! Hadji Wright has curled it victory are through to only their second ever FA Cup semi-final.
Their goalkeeper kept them in it. Strange to say that. They've got a lot of injuries. You know, we know they've got some issues.
You have as well, though.
We have. We're not a massive squad, but the majority of ours are fit. You know, the fact that we've got that win on the back of two Ellis Sims goals and a brilliant finish from Hadji as well. You know, that should give everybody the confidence to kick on for the rest of the season in our league, and hopefully we can try and get into the playoffs. There's some good teams at our level, but we've just beaten a really good opponent, and they're a giant, and we are. You know, we're just happy that we've managed to put in a performance that gets us over the line and go to Wembley again. I think the fourth time since I've been at the club.
As a striker yourself, Ellis Sims obviously had that really good chance in the first half that he didn't take, but what character to pop up with the 2 goals and tee up the winner?
He never lets anything bother him, you know. I mean, he doesn't celebrate too much when he scores, but he doesn't either get 2 down when he doesn't. So, you know that he's going to miss 1 or 2 chances, but he's there to miss them. I've got no problem with it. I think, you know, he's getting better and more confident all the time. So, you know, fair play to him. He's stuck 2 in the net, and obviously Hadji's followed it up with the winner. It was absolutely phenomenal performance.
So that was Mark Robbins. Here's Gary O'Neill.
Really disappointed for the players who gave everything again, and really disappointed for the supporters because they gave everything as well, stuck with a group on a tough day. So just disappointed for everybody around the place that were close to another memorable result.
And it was a tough day, wasn't it? Because essentially Sarr has kept the team in it.
Sarr made some good saves, yeah.
What about the players sort of further forward? Did you expect a bit more from them today?
No, players gave everything. Today is just accumulation of where the club has ended up. You can't criticise the players. Anyone that wants to blame the players for today is miles off in their opinion. The players gave absolutely everything. We have 1 senior attacker fit at a Premier League football club, which makes it tough. We gave everything and we came up a bit short. Coventry were able to capitalise on the fact that they play us on a day where we're miles below our best, loads of our best players missing, and we weren't able to get it done, which I'm gutted about because my responsibility is to try and get it done, and we didn't.
That was Gary O'Neill. In the Championship, Swansea won the South Wales derby. They beat Cardiff 2-0 at lunchtime. Watford increased Birmingham's relegation worries with a 1-0 win at St Andrews. Ipswich hammered Sheffield Wednesday 6-0, and with Leicester in FA Cup action and Leeds not playing until tomorrow, that takes Ipswich into second this evening. Middlesbrough Blackburn was goalless. Preston got a 1-0 win at Plymouth. Rotherham and Huddersfield, 2 sides in the bottom 3. That ended goalless. Huddersfield had a man sent off in that game as well. Norwich won 3-0 at Stoke, gives them a 3-point buffer in the playoff spots. Sunderland and QPR was goalless. West Brom beat Bristol City by 2-0. Reaction from one of the 3 o'clock Premier League games. Luke Berry got a late equaliser as Luton drew 1-1 with Nottingham Forest. Here he is.
Big point, because we needed that. If we lose that, it could be a bit too much to climb. But now 3 points, I feel like we can do it.
It had been a tough afternoon, and to be fair, Nottingham Forest seemed to have control of the game. Was that how you were viewing it from the side before you came on?
I thought we started well, and then a little midway through the first half, we had about 5 minutes where we just went sloppy and they scored. And it was a pretty even game. I think they had a few good chances. We had a few. We was in good areas. We didn't really get the shot off and things what we required. But it was a pretty even game, really.
And given what had happened on Wednesday as well, how important could this be psychologically, just to nick that point at the end?
Yeah, that's the thing. Now we know it's just one game. We need to perform, and hopefully they slip up. And then we're above them. I think our goal difference is maybe slightly better. It's close, and that's all we need to do. If we can stay up by just 1 goal, that'd be lovely.
In League One today, Barnsley 0, Cheltenham 0. Second place Derby beat third place Bolton by a goal to 0, so there's now 4 points between the 2 of them. Exeter 1, Burton 0. Fleetwood 1, Charlton 1. Lincoln, who hit 5 last weekend against Barnsley, 6 during the week against Cambridge, hit 5 again today as they beat Bristol Rovers 5-0. The leaders, Portsmouth, won at 4th place Peterborough by a goal to 0, so Portsmouth 5 clear at the top of the table. Oxford won 2-0 at Port Vale. Reading 4, Cambridge 0. Shrewsbury 1, Carlisle 0. Leyton Orient won 1-0 at Stevenage. Wigan 1, Blackpool 0. and Wycombe 2, Northampton 0. Manchester City are up and running in the FA Cup. John Murray.
They are a goal in the 13th minute for the holders, so Manchester City leading Newcastle by 1-0. It was a deflected shot from Bernardo Silva. Newcastle were parked deep in their own defensive third. Bernardo Silva carried it into the penalty area and shot across goal, and it flicked off a defender. It might have been Dan Burn, which took it wickedly over the top of Dubravka. Nothing he could do about it, and dropped inside the far top corner. It had been coming. Manchester City had dominated it. Newcastle looked rather uncertain with the three central defenders. It's a back five effectively, and the goal has come.
From what
1-0.
you've seen so far, is that all over?
I am tempted to think so. Chris Waddle's sitting next to me and he's got a knowing look on his face.
Yeah, I do, Mark. I think the shape Newcastle's playing, they can't put any pressure on the ball in areas, and City are just really playing within themselves at the minute. They've got that goal. I can't see Newcastle. They're going to have to change the system if they want to get anything out of the game.
Yeah, we've got 8,000 Newcastle fans here. I think they watched the first 12 minutes through their fingers. And
Chris,
the goal
Chris always has a knowing look on his face.
He does, yeah.
Back to the Premier League. Burnley beat 10-man Brighton 2-1. Brentford this afternoon. Here's Vincent Kompany.
Vincent, I know there's a lot of football still to be played, but particularly those scenes from the fans at full time, that felt like a really big win today.
Yeah, and the players have earned it. You know, we can't keep putting up performances and not get results. This was good. This was big for us. We get to have a weekend and enjoy, and then back to work first day of the week.
What in particular did your side do well today? Because many times you spoke post-match about things you've done well, but obviously collectively to get 3 points. What was crucial for you today?
I think we started well. We didn't wait for the game to happen. We forced them to make a mistake early doors. I think we won duels and challenges in many occasions, and we created big chances today again. You know, it's maybe the thing, if we sharpen our tools a little bit more, we can have more goals, of course. But in the end, a team that is not won for a while, with 10 minutes to go, if the result is not already, if you've not put the game to bed, then that's always something where you have to grind it out. But we did that and we got the result.
In League 2 today, Accrington 2, Notts County 2, AFC Wimbledon 0, Newport 2, Barrow and Harrogate were 0-0. Mansfield, the leaders, thrashed Bradford 5-1 at Valley Parade. Colchester 1, Walsall 1. Sutton, bottom of the table, 1 at Forest Green Rovers, who are now next to bottom again by a 0-0. Gillingham 1, Grimsby 1, MK Dons beat Crewe 3-1. Swindon 1, Doncaster 2. Wrexham were beaten at home 1-0 by Tranmere. In the National League today, Chesterfield could have gone up if they won and Barnet failed to beat Woking. Chesterfield didn't win. They drew 2-2 at Oldham. Also finished AFC Fylde 1, Wealdstone 2, Boreham 1-0, Altrincham 1, Bromley 0, Kidderminster 0. Dagenham and Redbridge beat Maidenhead 4-1. Dorking 1, Solihull Moors 1. Eastleigh 1, Rochdale 4, Ebbsfleet 4, Gateshead 2. Goalless between Hartlepool and Southend. Woking 1, Barnet 0. York City 1, Aldershot 0. In the Women's Super League today, Everton were beaten 2-1 at home by Aston Villa. In the Scottish Premiership, Celtic have gone back to the top of the table. They beat St Johnstone 3-1. Hibs beat bottom of the table Livingston 3-0. Kilmarnock 5, St Mirren 2. Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 1. And Ross County 2, Hearts 1, with the other scores in the Scottish Premiership. In the Scottish Championship, Airdrieonians 5, Arbroath 2. Inverness 1, Ayr 2. Partick Thistle 2, Morton 1. Goalless between Queen's Park and Wraith. Edinburgh City 2, Alloa 5 as we go into League 1, and that means Edinburgh City are relegated. Hamilton 3, Stirling 0. Kelty Hearts 0, Cove Rangers 1. Montrose 1, Annan 1. And it's currently goalless between Queen of the South and Falkirk. They're 20 minutes in there. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Clyde 2. Forfar 1, Stenhouse Muir 1. Peterhead 1, East Fife 1. Spartans 2, Dumbarton 6. Stranraer 1, Elgin 2. To Ian Carter at the Players on third round Saturday.
Looking forward to this. Can the US Open champion Wyndham Clark convert this into another commanding victory? He certainly has a commanding position on the leaderboard at the moment, Mark. 14 under par after 2 brilliant 65s. But Matt Fitzpatrick is in the chasing pack, 5 shots behind in a share of 4th place. Scotty Scheffler, the world number 1, in a share of 6th at 8 under par, so within 6 shots of the lead. Rory McIlroy already out on the course. 1 birdie, 1 bogey in 3 holes so far. He's at 6 under.
In the Northern Irish Premiership, Ballymena 0, Carrick Rangers 2, Crusaders 1, Coleraine 1, Glentoran 1 3-0 at Dungannon, Larne 6, Glenarvan 1, Linfield 6, Newry City 0, Loughgall 2, Cliftonville 3. Back to Craven Cottage, Henry Moran.
19 minutes gone, Fulham 0, Spurs 0. Fulham the better side. Romero has made a fine block to deny Pereira. Lively game this, Fulham 0, Spurs 0.
That's on Sports Extra. In Super League today, Hull KR won 24-12 at Huddersfield. Hull were thrashed 54-4 at home by Lee. Catalan lead Castleford 4-0. In the Six Nations already, Wales have the wooden spoon, beaten 24-21 at home by Italy. All to play for in Dublin. They're just back underway. Chris Jones.
And straight away, Jordan Lama going on an attack as the Dublin crowd implores Ireland to extend this 7-6 lead. The game is in the balance as Lowe gets down the edge and finds Aki. That's good from Ireland. Listen to the Aviva. Andrew Porter deep to Crowley. On the bounce, it goes to Peter O'Mahony, the skipper, who barrels into Ben White. The Aviva Stadium in great voice. A win for Ireland and their Six Nations champions. A draw and their champions. Any kind of bonus point and their champions. But Scotland have been excellent so far and the game is on a knife edge. Ireland attack through Henshaw and then Porter on the 22 in Scottish territory. Listen to the roar as Henshaw is tackled by Darge. 15 metres out, maybe closer to 20 as James Lowe comes off his wing. And Scotland are tackling themselves to a standstill. And the big question from a Scottish point of view is how long they can keep up this defensive intensity as Furlong is felled on the 22. There for Gibson Park, Crowley static but brings in Nash, who's off the right wing to link. Ben White again is tackling. Will bring in Tommy Bowe and Fraser Brown shortly, but the second half has started at pace as Ireland go through their phases. Over a dozen now. They have an advantage as Scotland infringe. They go off their feet. And Tommy Bowe, Ireland will have a chance to go into a 10-6 lead.
Ireland, of course, with that 1 point lead going into half-time. A lot of question marks, a lot of people scratching their heads, wondering what are we going to see from this Irish team in the second half, because Scotland have nullified every attack. But out of the blocks they came. James Lowe with the one-on-one up against Duhan van der Merwe, bounced off him, a brilliant offload to Bundyaki, and all of a sudden Ireland were away and running. Yes, just the start that Ireland needed here in Dublin.
Just, I think, probably a clear message from Ireland at half-time. Straight away they're looking to try and get to width a bit more. So rather than going through the phases in the midfield, they're straight away to width. They're stretching Scotland straight away. And the speed of ball in the second half of Ireland has been lightning compared to the
one thing that we did see Scotland do so well against this Irish attack was just slow down the ruck ball. And yes, Bundy Aki got away. Ireland were able to go wide to wide. But then Scotland were able to slow down that ball, and they'll be disappointed to give away that penalty in the middle of the pitch.
Crowley kicks the penalty. Ireland now 10, Scotland 6. A nerve settler for the Aviva Stadium crowd, who no doubt Tommy Bowe are desperate to get into St Patrick's weekend party mood. And then as Russell goes quickly, he sends it out on the full, which will give Ireland a scrum on halfway.
This is exactly what Scotland would not have wanted. They knew they've done everything right in the first half. Keep that pressure on Ireland. Don't let them build the lead. Ireland get the penalty. Russell sprints up to the halfway line, tries to do a kick-off quickly to catch Ireland on alert, which he did, but unfortunately kicked the ball out on the full. So it's a great attacking opportunity for Ireland on the halfway line.
It wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. The blueprint was there for Scotland from the first half. Take their time, control it, put pressure on Ireland's exit, get Ireland as far away from Scotland's try line as possible, and try and control the tempo of the game.
Listen, we know he's a maverick. We know he can pull a rabbit out of a hat, and that's what we love about him with Phil Russell, the Scottish 10, the Scottish captain. But sometimes as a captain it's not about being a maverick. Sometimes it's about doing the right thing at the right time, and that could be a costly error.
The first rendition of Fields of Athenry on this St Patrick's weekend as Ireland win the scrum penalty, and they've come storming out the blocks in this second half. What a ball, Gibson Park to Lowe. His kick ricochets out of touch, but it's a penalty to Ireland. And their 10-6 lead could potentially go to 13-6, maybe at the edge of Crowley's range. But something's been said at half-time, Tommy Bowe. These Ireland players have had a rocket.
It seems like the Six Nations replay from this time last year, because if you remember in Murrayfield, Scotland threw the kitchen sink at the Irish team. It was so close at half-time. They couldn't get themselves in front though, and when they couldn't get themselves in front, it always gave Ireland that nose, that little bit of confidence. Ireland came out in the second half that time and ran away with it. And they'll be wanting to do the same again now.
Scotland have to weather this Irish storm now, don't they, Fraser Brown? At 10-6, 17-6 becomes a mountain to climb.
Yeah, they cannot concede here. I mean, it's been a recurring theme for Scotland across this entire championship. Start well, play well in the first half, still in the changing rooms at half-time. So Scotland need to weather this, get out of their half, and then try and get back on the attack.
Hear that atmosphere roar. The Irish fans are wanting to see more from this team.
Yeah, I mean, talk around about it being sometimes a bit of a quiet atmosphere in the V, but nothing like it today. And I think that's because the crowd know the players need them, with Scotland really turning up, but still so much to go. Just a couple of minutes into this second half. Great carry, Bundy Aki. They come in their droves now round the corner, the Irish forwards. Sheehan, now Crowley directing traffic, asking Robbie Henshaw to carry. He'll do that all day. Gibson Park starting to flirt on the fringes. Good tempo to this Irish attack. McCarthy not far from the 5-metre line. A try here could put Ireland so close to the Six Nations title as Tadhg Furlong spins out of a tackle. They're starting to queue up to the right now, the Irish. Crowley under the crossbar, deep to low. Lovely hands to Robbie Henshaw. They've got numbers to the right here, the Irish. Gibson Park, Crowley had 3 men outside. But he took the contact, did Jack Crowley. 7 metres out for Ireland, who lead by 4. 6 minutes into the second half on 5 Live. Bundy Aki going under the post. He's a metre short. Great quick ball. It's been lost by Lama. And, well, there was a penalty advantage. Kyle Steyn had a chance, but never onside was the verdict from Matt Carley. Or what do you do here, Tommy Bowe? Peter O'Mahony's having a word with Carley.
Just the guard at the ruck was off. It's like it's close to space.
Well, Peter O'Mahony is basically implying that that's professional infringing, that was meeting the yellow card threshold. And this is a big call, because Ireland have got Scotland on the run here. Points or scrum. They're having a long consultation, Tommy Bowe.
I would imagine they're going to go for a pick and go here.
Penalty, I think.
Yeah, this is something that we've seen Ireland and Leinster employ in years gone by. Very, very effective. It's this Irish team. Andy Farrell obviously read the riot act to this Irish team at half-time, because they are completely different from what we saw in the first half.
Tap and go. Dan Sheehan drives up to the line. Despairing tackling from Scotland, who are trying to stay in this contest. They've got a triple crown on the line, but Ireland have a Six Nations title. They lead 10-6, and they're so close now. They're up to the line. Have they lost it forward? Tadhg Furlong was it? Yes, it was Furlong. I wonder if he's got this down.
What a tackle by Scotland.
I think with George Turner, a huge hit coming in on Furlong there. He might have just dislodged it.
That's it.
Well, you've got to watch the body language of the Irish. And I think Furlong might have scored, because he's the kind of bloke you'd imagine if he hadn't, he'd have just said, look, let's not bother wasting time.
Okay, on-field decision, no try. We'd like to check whether there's a knock-on.
It seemed like it was like bumper cars. Big Tadhg Furlong, he crashed it in, and all of a sudden a new tackler came in and absolutely smoked him. It's Finn Russell, is it? What's a try?
Well,
Fraser, you're shaking your head.
Here's the angle. Oh, that is tight. That is so tight. Tadhg Byrne to Tadhg Furlong. The Tigers combining. He shook off one tackle. He then okay, well, look what's happened. There's definitely a moment where he has downward pressure.
I have to say, Matt Carley has gotten in the way of Finn Russell, aiding on that tackle as well, so he does have a case in point, because he would have doubled up on Tadhg Furlong there.
Let's listen in.
Very slowly.
Well, the TMO will have to find clear evidence, Marius Jonker, that he's lost this Furlong, because the Scottish player, he does dislodge. I keep saying it's tight. What do you think, Fraser?
I don't know. It's as tight as it could be. I think I think Xander Ferguson's hand just gets in there.
Listen, before this game, myself and Fraser were talking about the NRL, the Aussie rules, or the Australian Rugby League down, and the wonderful rugby, enterprising rugby. And if the benefit of the doubt goes towards the attacking team, so I'm going for that one on this one.
I'm completely changing my opinion on that.
You think it's a try?
No, I think.
Oh, you shouldn't be going to the attacking team. Let's get the right decision.
Your
Listen in.
decision is no try.
Yeah.
The ball is being dislodged.
Yeah.
And you stick with your on-field decision.
So no try is the verdict. Carl Dixon came in.
Ball was lost forward, clearly.
Ball was lost.
So it's going to be a Scottish scrum.
It was in the in goal. It was in the in goal, yeah.
Well, no, it's then going to be a
goal line dropout.
A goal line dropout. Right, okay.
No try.
Scotland survive. So with that in mind, we'll get a word from Fraser Brown. It stays 10-6, no try, goal line dropout to the Etihad. John Murray.
Manchester City are leading Newcastle by 1-0. Bernardo Silva's deflected shot. Chris Waddle, it's been almost one-way traffic for the holders.
Yeah, it has. Newcastle have got to have a little bit more belief. There is gaps at the back. We've seen that. City play very high. They've got the pace to get in behind them, but they've got to show more quality on the ball. City's just in control of this game, so easy.
Almost half an hour played here in Manchester. City 1, Newcastle 0.
Thanks, John and Chris, and we'll be with you at the end of this game, which has about half an hour left to run. Ireland 10, Scotland 6, as Ireland lose it forward, and first Tommy Bowe, then Fraser Brown. A huge moment there with Scotland surviving and then managing to take play up to the halfway line.
Yes, and Ireland compounding compounding errors. Tyke Furlong so close, got over the line, but the ball was dislodged. Wonderful defence by Scotland. They cleared the lines. Ireland to try to attack her on the halfway line, shifted the ball out to Tyke Furlong. A bad pass, to be honest with you. It was behind him. It bounced off his arm, and Scotland will be delighted because that was a lot of pressure.
Just big moments from Scotland. Obviously, huge moment there to just get in the way and stop Ireland scoring that try. Huge moment off that massive collision from George Turner again on that kick chase. Big collision, just slowed up the ball, stopped Ireland being able to get into that counter-attack shape.
48 minutes gone, Ireland 10, Scotland 6. We wait for a Scotland scrum as Ashman comes on for Turner. Are you still goalless at Fulham, Henry Moran?
We are. 31 minutes gone, Fulham 0, Spurs 0. Great game this. We've seen opportunities at both ends, best of which probably falling to Son for Spurs, side footing over the bar from 12 yards. Fulham 0, Spurs 0.
Thanks very much, Henry. That's over on Sports Extra. Fulham Spurs in the Premier League, and as we're hearing from John Murray, City lead Newcastle 1-0, Manchester City at the Etihad, and we will have second half commentary from the Etihad after this at the Aviva. Ireland 10, Scotland 6, 30 minutes left as Dempsey comes away. Might be some space for Kinghorn, and Kinghorn's away up to the 22. Can Scotland hit back after that Crowley penalty? Russell, he flings it out to Ashman. Big collision with Furlong, but he does well there, Ewan Ashman, to spin out of the collision. There for Christie. Oh, he's been given that. He has given it eventually, but maybe the moment was missed as Scotland just started to queue up on the right. But Dempsey's gone through. His offload then only finds Gibson Park as the game opens up in Dublin. Gibson Park well tackled by Ben White. But was that half a chance, Fraser Brown, down the right-hand side?
Yeah, great work by Jack Dempsey off the scrum, and then again just down that right-hand side. If he just manages to get that pass away, Scotland have got the opportunity to run a 3-on-1 down that short side.
Key moment by Gibson Park as well. We spoke earlier on about his scrum defence. He just got in the way of that offload, intercepted it, because if he hadn't got it, Scotland were right on the front foot.
Another goal at the Etihad, John Murray.
And a second goal has duly arrived for Manchester City. And just like the first, it is a deflected goal by Bernardo Silva. This one, a curling left foot shot that actually flicked the head of Sven Botman, and as a result went underneath Dubravka's dive. Manchester City in complete control both in the play and now in the scoreline. 2-0.
Thanks very much, John. So City in control, but Ireland aren't in control here as many would have expected. Still 30 minutes to go. Ireland 10, Scotland 6. They are on their way to the Six Nations title. But can Scotland score with this little spell of pressure, or the ball's gone loose and there will be a knock-on? I think there may be a knock-on before, and then Russell maybe didn't knock that one on, but Matt Carley says on the balance of things there was probably a knock on in there somewhere. So will be an Ireland scrum. Next score in this game, Fraser Brown and Tommy Bowe. Absolutely vital.
Fraser, we spoke before this game. You said it was about the collective taking the pressure off your main players, but so far 2 players who are so influential to this Scottish team, Finn Russell and Duhan van der Merwe, we haven't seen them at their very best. And if Scotland, if they can get the ball in their hands and get them really attacking, they can really hurt this Irish team, but so far we just haven't seen it.
Absolutely. I mean, another mistake there. A little bit of a miscommunication between Russell and van der Merwe in the backfield. I think Scotland have come out in the second half and they clearly want to play more rugby. You know, in the first half, first 25 minutes, it was very cagey and around this middle third. There's a lot of kicking going on from both sides. Scotland have decided they're going to come out after half-time and they're going to try and put Ireland under pressure. Brings rewards, but there's massive risk again. We turn over the ball on the halfway line. Another opportunity for Ireland to try and get access.
And they weathered that storm, which was so important, because Ireland came out of the blocks in the second half, really with the bit between their teeth. And now it's interesting to see even Tadhg Furlong is coming off. So Andy Farrell's decided to make the changes with 30 minutes to go, which is something you don't see too often, particularly for Tadhg Furlong, is so influential.
There's been some big collisions in the first 10 minutes of this second half. George Turner, Tadhg Furlong's been in 2 or 3 of them. He had a big collision on Ewan Ashman just outside the Irish 22 a couple of minutes ago. So it's been fast, but it's been powerful and it's been aggressive around the contact area.
I'm surprised Jack Conan and Ryan Baird are 2 people that he's not decided to bring onto the pitch, because they add so much dynamism. And as you said, there's been some big hits, there's going to be some sore bodies. But if Ireland really want to build a lead here, they need to get the ball in hand and really make some dominant carries.
29 minutes to go. Next score could be pivotal. If it's Scotland's, then there'll be some nerves around the Aviva. But Ireland have just marmalised that Scottish scrum. They have advantage, and they have Nash kicking ahead. That might be advantage over, and I think we'll come back, because that's often the way that penalty advantages last forever. Van der Merwe's caught. He's right next to his own goal line, only a few metres out. Advantage is over from Matt Carley. So Scotland will have the ball, Fraser Brown, but they are completely in the wrong part of the Aviva.
Yeah, I mean, if Scotland can exit from here, that's a huge get out of jail free card with the advantage over. But more worryingly, you know, they've just changed Loosehead and Hooker Scotland 5 minutes ago, and that's 2 big scrum penalties we've seen already for Ireland in the second half.
Van der Merwe did very well there. He went back, he's 5 metres from his own line. He had 3 Irish players all over him, and how he managed to stay on his feet and avoid giving away a penalty was very impressive.
You just feel, don't you guys, this is where Ireland will turn the screw. The home crowd, the extra strength in depth, the vulnerabilities on the Scottish bench.
Well, you expect to. You think they have to, because this is a team that are going for the championship. This is a team that are wanting to show exactly how good they are. And this Irish crowd will get a little bit restless if we don't see Ireland start to play the type of rugby that they've come here to expect.
The number, guys.
Ireland 10, Scotland 6, 52 minutes gone. What a day of sport here on 5 Live. We'll be at Manchester City against Newcastle after this, and then we'll be in Lyon. Sonia McLaughlin building up to our commentary of France, England sport all the way till 10:15 on 5 Live. As Doris wins it at the front of the line out, Ireland lead 10-6. A win and the title stays in Dublin. Nice pattern as Gibson Park finds Henschel. They're starting to cook Ireland. They've bossed this second half as Van der Fleer picks and goes. Gibson Park looks left, he goes right. McCarthy, great offload. James Lowe out from Lama. Calvin Nash for the try. Lovely footwork, Nash. Oh, he could have scored. Then he ran into Christie and he's lost it. Oh, I thought Nash was walking it in. Tommy, give us the winger's verdict.
Oh, I would have walked out under the post. What? No. I mean, I have to say, I believe it just seemed like it all opened up. Calvin Nash had it. He was hugging the touchline. About 4 Scottish defenders were coming across to smash him. He stepped inside. It looked like he had all the space. I don't know who it was who came and made that tackle. Christie, I think it was, on the inside. Look at the space there. Wonderful defence by the cover defensive Scottish forwards.
I mean, if Steve Candy had any hair, he'd be pulling it out, you know. The Scottish defence parted like the Red Sea underneath the post for Van der Fleer to pick it up, and then what unbelievable cover tackle there from Christie and Grant Gilchrist.
Is that allowed? It looks like that ball has been ripped in the tackle.
The referee's giving us a knock on, so
got to play the referee, Tommy. Ireland 10, Scotland 6. And
well, they're certainly doing that right in this game so far, anyway, Scotland.
You do feel as if Fraser, Scotland are kind of hanging on here. I mean, if they're going to pull off something special, win the Triple Crown, win away in Ireland for the first time in 14 years, they have to ride this period out somehow.
I mean, to win big test matches, you're always going to be under pressure at some point. You've got to be able to just dig in and survive, and I think Scotland are in full survival mode at the minute. If they can get out of their 22, if they can try and slow the game down a little bit more, slow that Irish ball down, then maybe they can build their way back into the game.
And wonderful defence. They are throwing everything at this Irish team because Ireland have their tails up, but Scotland have a perfect opportunity to exit here again. If Ireland are not clinical and don't take their chances, Scotland are all over them in this half so far.
And remember what happened at the last scrum.
Chances of there being a free kick here at the scrum for someone going early or a pre-bind or something. I'd be doing it.
Well, this is a great noise. There's a title on the line. It's St Patrick's weekend, and the Aviva Stadium's an outstanding voice, and you feel that this Dublin crowd sense Ireland are one score away now from wrapping up that title. With 25 minutes to go, they lead 10-6. It's in the balance, but they have bossed this second half, and the Scotland scrum is creaking. And it goes to ground, and I think Scotland have managed to get that back. Yes, they have, so well played, Scotland. And now it's whether they can clear, as Finn Russell is hurting his forwards, and Sander Fagerson, who's just been put under pressure at that scrum, is being screamed at.
Fraser.
You must know what that's like, there. Fraser.
I cannot tell you what happened there at that scrum. You've got Sander Fagerson's played about 75 minutes in all of Scotland's games so far. He is so important for them. You know, he's one of the pivotal players, but he's so important from a set piece point of view. He has just got to survive for the next 5-10 minutes, try and get through this period, try and get another win.
More changes for Ireland. This is what they can do. They can bring on some cavalry. I mean, Scotland have got plenty of quality on their bench, but you feel Ireland just have that extra bit of depth as Ryan Baird comes on for McCarthy and Ronan Kelleher comes on for Sheehan. That kick actually from Ben White was pretty decent in the circumstances. Ireland line out 35 metres out, they lose it, Ireland, and Sander Fagerson, fair play. After all those scrums, he storms away with it, and they've got to play territory, Scotland, and that's what Russell does. And for one of the first times in this second half, Ireland have it inside their own half, so Lama promptly whacks it downfield to Russell, who's expertly positioned, and he sends up a Gary Owen into the blue Dublin sky now. Van der Merwe has picked the pocket of Ryan Baird, and then Irish bodies pour over, but it's there for Scotland. Gilchrist, it's going to be a penalty, and Fraser Brown puts his hand to his head, and you saw that coming a mile off. Gilchrist loses it, played by the man in front, the cheapest penalty. Scotland can't afford to do that, Fraser.
Just tired bodies. We just mentioned Sander Fagerson twice in the last 60 seconds. Grant Gilchrist again has done a power of work. Just tired bodies, you know, inaccurate on the pass, and then just sloppy mistakes from then on. You know, poor pass there from Ben White, not really sure who's it's going to, and then there's a lack of communication and connection.
Scotland a really good exit from 5 metres from their own line, put the ball into touch. Ireland with an opportunity to attack off the line out inside the Scottish 10-metre line, but an overthrow. So it's the compounding errors again from this Irish team, which we're just not accustomed to seeing. We're seeing them being so efficient, making the right decision at the right time. All of a sudden the overthrow went to Scotland. They put themselves back into Ireland's half. Finn Russell puts the ball up again. There's a bit of a comedy of errors in the middle now. Ireland have the ball on the halfway line, but I really don't think Ireland, we're not used to seeing them make these mistakes over and over again, and they are putting the pressure on this Scottish team, but if they don't come away with points, what's it worth?
Great pressure from Scotland at the line-out. England last week got into the game through their line-out pressure. Same again for Scotland this week. That's where they need to attack Ireland.
Crowley will kick for touch, and Ireland will have another opportunity to try and kill this game. Deadlock broken at Fulham, Henry.
Fulham 1, Tottenham 0. Rodrigo Muniz with the low finish, his fourth consecutive home goal. What an excellent half it's been from Fulham. Fulham 1, Spurs 0.
Commentary over on Sports Extra as Scotland make a mistake. Crowley went for broke, didn't he? Right for the corner. Kinghorn tried to keep it in play, but he lost it. Ireland line out, 7 metres out. O'Mahony takes it. He's taken in the air, and this Scottish dam he feels about to burst. Gibson Park, as we approach the hour mark at the Aviva on 5 Live. Ireland 10, Scotland 6. Gibson Park waits his moment. Aki goes inside to Gary Ringrose. What a replacement to have coming on in the final quarter. Robbie Henshaw, another advantage. Scotland really creaking now. And Ireland, you imagine a sniffing blood. There for Gibson Park, Van der Fleer as they start to come in waves. Scotland hanging on, but for how much longer? 5 metres out, centre field, Baird, Henshaw, Jack Crowley, he loses it, but there's going to be a penalty, and there could be cards as well.
Yes, Ireland putting the pressure on Scotland. There's a little bit of argy-bargy. Duhan Verba coming up and making a tackle on Bundy Aki off the ball. No love lost between these teams. We know that going into this game. But Ireland, yes, knocking on the door, but so far Scotland are not creaking.
Scotland has got to survive. We've said it before, they've got to survive. Got to be really clean at this line-out defence. Grant Gilchrist, just guilty there, going early, contact in the air. You know, it's a big weapon of Ireland, their mauls, so Scotland have got to try and take care of that first.
Will Scotland or will Ireland maul this one? We've seen them try to do a few different plays, try to get the ball out wide, set it up in midfield. We haven't seen them just keep the ball in the maul yet.
I think they'll maul. I think there's times in the game where you choose to go to your power game. I think for Ireland, the first 18 minutes of this second half has all been Ireland. They need to make it pay. They've been let off the hook twice. Scotland have been let off the hook twice by Ireland. They've got to make this pay. They've got to go to the power game.
I agree. They don't need to try and do anything too fancy now. This is the time to roll up your sleeves and show the muscle. This is something that Ireland have spoke about, that they have this mindset over Scotland, but this is a big opportunity for Scotland to try and get one over them.
Oh, it's been an Irish onslaught for the whole of this third quarter. Ireland 10, Scotland 6, another 5 metre line out. Kelleher to O'Mahony, the captain is leading from the front, and as expected by our pundits, Ireland are going to maul, the backs are getting involved, they're going to score here surely. Kelleher looks well set, Aki's in there, Scotland hanging on as Kelleher peels away, inches short of that Scottish line. 10-6 as Ireland look for back-to-back Six Nations titles. They're up to the line, they are over the line, just maybe short. Scotland are hanging on, but it's there for Ireland. And Beelam's digging for it, the replacement, and he puts his head down. Brave Scottish defence, but how much longer can they keep out this green machine? Tyburn up to the line, and there are loads of Irish players out to the left. As Scotland looks slightly thin if they use the ball now, Ireland, but they might still pick and go through Andrew Porter, supported by Beelam. Again the big prop goes. Gibson Park just directing traffic, in total control. O'Mahony, what a moment it will be for the captain if he's scored. He's stopped just short, now they're going to use it. Bundy Aki, tackled by Russell, lightning fast ball. Oh, it's knocked on Gary Ringrose. And Scotland again survive. And whatever ends up happening here, Fraser Brown. Fair play. What defence, Scotland.
No, a lot of questions were asked of Scotland after that loss last week in Italy, but boy, have they shown up today. Heart, desire, work rate, the work to get round there. You see, who was that? Hugh Jones flying off the line again. Ireland have got such quick ball off that Bundy Aki carry, but the intent of Scotland just to get up and go again has been incredible.
Wonderful defence. You have to hand it to this Scottish side because there are so many question marks over them. Can they deal with the physicality? Can they deal with the pack, the power that this Irish team have? My goodness, they've stood up, they're giving everything here because, well, Ireland are giving everything and they just can't seem to get themselves over that line.
Well, this 20 minutes is going to feel like an age, isn't it? Ireland 10, Scotland 6. And we asked Fraser Brown if Scotland could be in the game on 60. They are, but the big question is scoring points, isn't it? Because they have spent the whole of this second half almost on their own line or in their own 22. They've got to find a way to not only get out of here, but try and get some points back in Irish territory.
Yeah, I mean, they need to obviously get out of their 22. They spent 16 minutes in their 22. There was 2 opportunities and they gave up quick, cheap turnovers in the Irish half. So they've got to get out, they've got to build some pressure and try and nick a cheeky penalty.
Right, let's see what happened to this scrum. Then we'll go and get half-time from Henry at Craven Cottage. Listen to the noise that came around the Aviva. Beautiful blue sky here. 6:15 on this Saturday evening, the day before St Patrick's Day in Dublin. Penalty Scotland! Oh, they will get out of jail here.
Straight back, straight legged.
And they have done extraordinarily well to keep Ireland out. Right, let's go to the cottage. Half-time, Henry.
Half-time, Fulham 1, Spurs 0. Rodrigo Muniz, low finish just before half-time. The difference, no less than Fulham deserve. Spurs currently missing the chance to go fourth. Fulham 1, Spurs 0 at the break.
Commentary over on Sports Extra with Conor McNamara and Matt Jarvis. Sport all the way through to 10:15 with Six Nations, FA Cup football, Premier League over on Sports Extra. More Six Nations tonight. Keep us with you whatever you're doing on this Saturday afternoon and evening as Scotland go up to the 10-metre line, as Matt Fagerson comes on for Rory Darge, the co-captain, and George Horn comes on for Ben White. A bit of tempo for Scotland, Fraser Brown, as they win the line out, and now they try desperately to work their way back into Irish territory. So as they try and do that, let's go to the Etihad. Half-time for you, John Murray.
Yes, it is half-time. Manchester City absolutely in control of this. The holders 2-0 up on Newcastle United. 2 goals, both deflected shots from Bernardo Silva, but City have had so many other chances. One opportunity, a good one for Newcastle, when Isak's shot was well saved by Ortega, but other than that, it's been all City. And if this is anything other than City into the semi-finals, this will be an FA Cup shock, Chris.
Van der Merwe on Gary Ringrose. It's all happening here, John, as Scotland forced a mistake from Ireland, then they lost the ball, and Gary Ringrose went up the touchline, and Ireland have another penalty advantage here. And just like that, when Scotland had their one opportunity of the half, it's back with Ireland, who drive through Beelum. They're going to get a penalty at least. Jack Crowley short to Tyburn. Byrne in centre field as Gilchrist goes to Steele. Gibson Park, Kelleher. I don't know why Scotland didn't just take that scrum, Fraser Brown. They would have been field position on Ireland's 22 as Henshaw sets it up.
Just what we spoke about, Scotland worked so hard to get out of their own half, and then they give it away cheaply. Just a little bit of composure, just build a little bit of pressure.
Jordan Lama, Caelan Doris, his offload to Peter O'Mahony. 10 metres out, O'Mahony. He's wrestled to the floor, but what strength from the captain. Gibson Park, amazing tackle, but he's only a metre out. And if Ireland's got another advantage, surely Scotland are going to concede here. With 17 minutes to go, the Six Nations title on the line. Aviva Stadium in outstanding voice, and 5 or 6 Ireland players are queuing up to the right. O'Mahony, he sets it up. He is under the Scottish crossbar with a 4-point lead. With 16 minutes to go on 5 Live. Gibson Park to the right. No, the forwards will drive on. They'll take their time, Ireland, and will wait for the moment to strike. Scotland's defence has been heroic this second half, but it can't hold on forever. Constant penalty advantages. 3, 4. Yellow cards might be on the way too. As Ireland go out the back. Short to Robbie Henshaw. He's up to the line. Has he scored? Matt Carley is in an amazing position. And he will go upstairs. As Henshaw reached for the line.
If he hasn't scored that is incredible.
How did he? I mean, unbelievable defence by Horn, I think it was. Robbie Henshaw looked clearly over the line. Ireland throwing absolutely everything.
But we had 3 penalties in a row in that sequence, with 18 being offside. The last one, he's going to the bin. Okay, Marius?
I'm listening to you.
Okay, we've got on-field no try. I believe it's held up, but I lost sight of the ball momentarily, so I'd just like to check that.
All right, cool. On-field decision, no try.
So there's going to be a check for a try, and there'll be a yellow card to Scotland. And just to go back, we were getting that update from John Murray. Ireland lost the ball forward as we see a replay. Henshaw with Cameron Redpath. Amazing defence. He's got it held up. He's got it held up. He's got it held up. It's going to be tight. I think it's held up. That looks held up. What do you guys think?
I think it's held up as well. Absolutely incredible defence by
Unbelievable effort. Unbelievable.
By the whole Scottish team. To be honest with you, they are Ireland are so dominant in this area, but somehow Scotland are managing to just keep them out every time.
And Fraser, what will be frustrating for Scotland is that Ireland made an error which would have given Scotland the scrum. They kept playing, then they lost it. Matt Carley, the ref, obviously decided advantage was over, and Ringrose went streaking up the touchline. But if somehow Scotland had either kept hold of the ball or had that scrum, they may have had an opportunity. You still feel it is Ireland who will eventually break this Scottish resistance.
Well, it's just respecting how hard they're having to work to try and get out of their own half, out of their own 22. You know, when you get the opportunity out there, let's just take a minute. Scotland need to take a minute, reset, use that set piece to launch from. The last scrum they had in midfield, they created something down the short side. So again, it's just using those opportunities
and capitalising on Ireland's errors. But I would imagine we're going to see a yellow card here.
Come back to you. We'll deal with that in
Let's
a second.
listen in to Marius Jonker. Well, Peter O'Mahony's going off.
Marius?
All right, Matt, there is no clear evidence that ball was grounded.
Yeah, okay.
So you stay with your on-field decision.
Okay, so we're coming back for the penalty advantage. We had 3 penalties in succession, with 18 being the last one for offside, so he's going in the bin. Number 18.
Okay, loads
18.
to take in here.
18.
First and foremost, it's no try.
Well, 18.
It's no
18.
try, but number 18.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Well, who came on for 18?
No, he's not come on yet. 18's not come on.
What was the number? Oh, 16. Sorry, 16.
Right.
16.
That's quite funny because Javan Sebastian was going to get sent to the bin without being on the pitch, which would have been a bit hard.
16.
But Ewan Ashman is the man who's gone. So it's no try, but it's a penalty to Ireland. Scotland down to 14. And in all that, Peter O'Mahony has gone off to a standing ovation from an Ireland crowd.
Penalty over here.
Who might have seen the last moment of Peter O'Mahony in an Ireland shirt. Some rumours around that this might be his last appearance at the Aviva. Time will tell on that front.
Rumours.
Yeah, Conor McGregor. Rumours.
Getting a massive cheer from the crowd there, because what an unbelievable servant he's been if this is his last time in green.
Well, whatever happens, will O'Mahony's captain see this Six Nations end with a title? They're up to the line. They've scored, Ireland. A set move, and finally Scotland's resistance is broken. And it's Andrew Porter who's at the bottom of it. Beautifully worked from the Ireland forwards. And it's taken 24 minutes of unrelenting pressure. And Ireland finally have got the try, and that should be the score. That means Ireland are going back-to-back with Six Nations titles.
Yes, a set play by Ireland. They've been all over Scotland in this opening 25 minutes of the second half, but Scotland have defended heroically. But eventually it had to tell, and they're down to 14 men. A nice set piece play by Ireland. Lovely dummy out the back to Andrew Porter. He's such a big man, you're not going to stop him with a run up and 5 metres out from the line. Ireland now building a comfortable lead.
Just great play. I mean, Ireland finally the pressure's told. You know, they've been banging down Scotland's door for almost 25 minutes, and it's just really well executed. You know, we've been... Oh, was he short?
Is he short?
He's short, and he's not grounded it.
Well, Fraser Brown, you were having a long look at that.
Finn Russell was complaining under the post. I don't think that's a try.
Wow. It looked like there was an arm. It definitely went over the line, but was there a Scottish arm between the ball and the line?
Well, I mean, he grounded it before the line, and then it bounced up, and I don't ever think it got grounded on the line.
Ah, well, try's given now, so 17-6.
The ref who has been quite kind of cautious, Matt Carley, he's had a couple of them 15. That he's gone no try, 15, and then he gave that straight away. He was convinced, wasn't he? And you feel if there was any question, the Marius Jonker surely has to intervene. They must have been happy that the try was scored properly.
It was only after that last highlight that we saw. We didn't see that until after the ball was kicked off at from the halfway line.
Right, well, at least Scotland have field position. Oh, they've lost it, and this is a familiar tale. Scotland hanging in there, but then the resistance breaks, the dam bursts, and Ireland now are on a roll. 17-6 up. Good take, Scotland coming forward. That was vital from Kyle Rowe, who was on in the back three.
Obviously Scotland with no hooker on at the minute, so I'm not sure whether that was Andy Christie or Matt Ferguson that threw in at the line out.
Good point, yeah.
Enough on the floor, baby.
Yeah, Ewan Ashman in the bin. They've got another 7 minutes, a man down. Uphill task doesn't quite do this justice. 13 minutes to go in Dublin. Ireland 17, Scotland 6. The title is all but Ireland's as Scotland knock on after the aerial contest, and Ireland will have a scrum, Tommy Bowe, inside their own half on the 10-metre line.
Yeah, a little bit messy there by both sides. things starting to favour Ireland now. Can Scotland try to turn the tide again? Because we haven't seen much out of this Scottish team. We've seen unbelievable defence but seen no attack. Can they get the ball in hand and try to get themselves back into this game as we hear the fields of battle rattle out around this stadium again? Irish eyes are smiling.
Scotland need an opportunity, and they need to be good enough to try and take that opportunity. Can they get back in the game? Can they try and get a score and make Ireland sweat in that last 10 minutes? It's going to be difficult. It's a long shot based on the last 25, 27 minutes, but can Scotland find some sort of quality somewhere, a moment of magic to try and get back in the game?
Well, both benches emptied. Cian Healy on for this try scorer, Andrew Porter.
I would love to see a replay of that try again. It's something we haven't seen come up, because that's going to be a real controversial one going forward. If that is seen again and it looks like there is an arm underneath the ball, it would just unfortunately only get to see.
I can tell you as a Scotsman, we cannot take any more TMO controversy in the Six Nations, so let's just leave it be.
Yeah, let's not go there after what happened in the France game. Right. It's just been a barrage, hasn't it, this second half? A total and utter Irish onslaught. And I don't think it's anything to do with Scotland's willing or their spirit. It's just been about Ireland having a bit too much power and relentlessness, Fraser.
It's been a brilliant game. You know, Ireland have so much quality, so much power. You know, they are the best team in the world. You know, South Africa and Ireland are the two best teams in the world. Ireland are showing it today, but what resilience, what work, what just desire for Scotland just to hang in there, try and show everyone what they're about, try and show that there is more to this Scotland team than they showed last week in Rome.
And to be fair to Scotland, they've made a brilliant game of this so far. Yes, Ireland are ahead by 11 points now, but Scotland are not out of this yet. I mean, we just need to see them get a hold of the ball, because they threw everything at Ireland in the first half. Just weren't able to be clinical to get themselves that nose in front, because we might have been something different if they had have.
Well, we've spoken about the main men in the Scotland team, the Finn Russells, Duan van der Merwe, Hugh Jones. We've not really seen them at all in the game. This would be an excellent opportunity for one of them to just light up the whole Aviva.
And we know they have the ability to do it. Van der Merwe, just give that man a little bit of ball in space, but every time he's got the ball, he's running sideways. He's got three Irish players all over him. Ireland have done their homework on him, and now here's another opportunity for Gibson Park to put the ball into the scrum and try and put Scotland back into their own half.
Yeah, Ireland feed the scrum, Gibson Park kicks. So Scotland held their own there, and they take it through Kyle Rowe, who looks to play some territory. It's a really good kick, unless he's overcooked it. He has overcooked it, and the mistakes just starting to add up now for the Scots. I mean, this whole second half has just been constant Irish pressure, and now Scotland are down by 11. They're down a man, and they just cannot get out their own territory. And Ireland, Tommy Bowe, 10 minutes away from going back to back with Six Nations titles.
Yeah, which will be just unbelievable for this side. A lot of people spoke, are they the best team in the world? Are they not? Who cares about that from this Irish point of view? They won the Grand Slam last year going into the World Cup. Unfortunately, that had that huge disappointment against the All Blacks in the quarter-final. But to bounce back without Johnny Sexton, to bring through Jack Crowley, to bring through Joe McCarthy, Calvin Nash, a number of young players coming into the competition. There were been a lot of people question, can they even be competitive in the Six Nations without some of their key players? But they played some brilliant rugby, and to go and win a championship would be an amazing achievement for them, particularly here in Ireland, in Dublin, on St Patrick's weekend.
Penalty against Scotland, Fraser.
I mean, that is harsher than harsh. That's just a good contest in the air for me.
Yeah, that was tough. It's just the way the game's gone. It's sort of everything's now going against Scotland. And yeah, you're seeing a freeze frame of that Porter.
Love a social media freeze frame.
Yeah, social media freeze frame, Tommy. You know, that is that might not be the perfect freeze frame, but
I'm trying to show you that it was a try.
Oh, you think that's okay?
Of course, yeah. Absolutely. They don't believe the freeze frames, Fraser, all right? There's not a Scottish hand underneath that ball from Andrew Porter. Legit try, Ireland play on. I think it's the yellow card that's really hurt this Scottish team, though, because the inevitable onslaught is coming from this Irish team as Harry Byrne puts it, 7-8 metres out from the line. Will we see another maul this time, or do you think Ireland can try and mix it up?
I don't know. I mean, I'd be mauling if it was me. I mean, from a Scottish point of view, they've got to dig in deep now. 17-6, respectable. Maybe they can get up the other end, but if Ireland score here, then with 10 minutes to go, how many fourth tries have we seen Ireland score in the last 10 minutes of games?
Well, it's party time in Dublin, and Ireland can finish this with a flourish. They've got line-out ball. They're 7 metres out. They lead by 11. They're 9 minutes away from another Six Nations title. They are 3 metres out. They continue to rumble. They forced them all, Scotland. They might get a scrum. And the Scottish heroism, albeit in most likely a losing cause, continues. They forced the scrum. But, as has been the case all this second half, they are camped practically on their own try line. Ireland 17, Scotland 6, 8 minutes to go. Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, excellent defence again by Scotland. Ireland trying to do whatever they can to get themselves over that line. Ty Byrne, I think it is, with Carna. It's actually Redpath has come from nowhere and joined that maul and held up Ty Byrne. Brilliant defence again by Scotland. It is their chance to try and clear their lines again.
Last one.
Ireland, if they do win the championship, of course they're going to be delighted. The Aviva Stadium is going to erupt, but it's not the performance that they maybe wanted to pull out in front of the home fans to try and win it with a plum, with put the cherry on top. Unfortunately, we just haven't seen that in the 72 minutes so far.
Scotland scrum, but 5 metres from their own line. And yeah, there's too much, you feel, for Scotland to do, and it's just about whether Ireland can finish with that flourish and send this Dublin crowd into St Patrick's Day in outstanding form. Back from Horn to Russell, who will clear, but it's just a little bit of relief, isn't it, Fraser Brown? It's a line out now to Ireland. Good clearance, Russell, but it'll be more Irish possession.
Yeah, nice tidy exit from Scotland. Very clinical. It's something that probably would have liked to have seen earlier in the half, but again, Ireland just have another opportunity to launch. Spoke at the start of the programme about how dangerous Ireland are from their launch, how important it is for them to get into their play. They didn't have a lot of attacking opportunities from line out in the first half, but as there's been more and more penalties, more and more pressure, they've had more opportunities from set piece.
And Ireland win it again at the line out through Doris, who is now captaining the side, perhaps a sign of things to come. As Murray sends it out, lost there by Ireland. Scotland have to do something and do it quickly. They need the ball so Russell can clear and look for space, and he eventually does, but it just took a bit long, so it meant Lama was able to scamper into the backfield and whack it downfield himself. Russell is back there and plucks it up the sky like an Aussie rules player. 6 minutes to go in Dublin. Ireland on the brink of the Six Nations title, but Finn Russell makes half a break, almost up to the halfway line. There's still a man down, Scotland, with Ashman in the bin for another 20 odd seconds. So they're going to have to attack Ireland with 14. They're trying to be enterprising and put a little kick in, but it's well gathered by Ireland. And
Kelleher.
Ronan Kelleher, the replacement hooker, back to Byrne, who looks for a 50-22, beautifully taken by Kyle Rowe. Rowe to Cameron Redpath as Scotland try and go from 80 out. Henshaw and Aki do the tackling, that formidable centre pairing. 6 minutes to go. Ireland 6 minutes away from Six Nations title glory. But they've been made to work really hard. It hasn't been easy for the Irish. This whole second half, though, it has been one-way traffic as George Horn clears, as 14-man Scotland have run themselves into a standstill. Right, let's go back to Fulham. You've got a goal, Henry.
Early in the second half, Fulham double their lead. Sasha Lukic flicking the ball into the bottom corner from a right-wing cross. Fulham lead Spurs by 2 goals to 0.
Over on Sports Extra, big goal for Fulham as James Lowe sends down a big kick of his own. Russell waits. Oh, he was going to touch it down. They're running it from under their own crossbar. Scotland will not give up the ghost here in Dublin. Carro is felled round the necks. They've got penalty advantage, the Scots, as Rory Sutherland trucks it up, but they've got to go 80 metres. George Horn's almost through. Gets the offload to Gilchrist, who chucks it behind his back. As Scotland throwing everything at Ireland. Finn Russell, he's caught, but this is the advantage over for the high tackle.
He's come back there for a high tackle, but I think they might have another look at the shot on Finn Russell there. Because it looked like head on head. Look, Scotland are just going to throw everything. Yeah. They're going to throw everything now. They've got 5 minutes left. 11 points down, like, why not?
It looked like all the guys who came off the bench were like, let's play, come on, and the rest of the team who've been absolutely bruised and battered for 72 minutes are like, can we just slow this down, put it into the corner and try and build it.
Yeah, you've clearly never been a front rower coming off the bench, because at no point are you ever said, yeah, let's go for it with 5 minutes to go.
Marius, go ahead.
Right, 5 minutes to go. Remember, we'll be at the Etihad for the conclusion, most of the second half really, of Manchester City against Newcastle in the FA Cup.
Time is off.
Quarter-final, and as we're hearing from Henry, what a result so far for Fulham.
Full speed first.
2-0, and that commentary's over on Sports Extra early in the second half there. What are we looking for here, Tommy?
High tackle, head on head. It looks like Harry Byrne goes high on Finn Russell. The clash faces.
Okay, so clear
that
head
could
on
be a yellow
head.
card.
With 22 uprights.
Yeah, so it's going to be a yellow with a bunker review. It doesn't matter in terms of this game whether it's yellow or red, because we've got under
Marius,
10 minutes to go. It could have repercussions, obviously, for a ban and stuff.
Yeah, Harry Byrne.
Just wait, we're just getting through the angles, please, Matt.
He's just come off
so
the
we've got
bench.
clear head contact and we've got the player upright, so
Right,
it meets
you're
the
on the screen now.
yellow card threshold. So we have 22 green.
So Harry Byrne is going in the sin bin,
22.
Tommy.
Yeah, he has to make more of an effort to try and bend at the hips. He's just gone into it.
22.
The two players are very much upright. Finn Russell.
Head on
I mean,
head
there was
contact,
nothing really going
meets the
on.
yellow card
I thought
threshold.
the whistle had nearly gone. So Harry Byrne will be disappointed, because obviously this is a rare opportunity for him to get a chance to control the ship in the 10 jersey. Jack Crowley's gone to 15, but he's going to spend the rest of this game in the sin bin.
I think he'll be lucky if that doesn't get upgraded to red, just from the nature of how they've been officiated now. And I think that'll be Ireland's first red card in the Six Nations.
Wow. Could be right. I'm not 100. Oh, well, Bundy. Well, this Six Nations.
This Six
definitely.
Nations, yeah.
Yeah, Bundy, of course, has had a.
Yeah, and Peter Omani in 2021, and yeah, they've had a few, but.
This Six Nations, yes, so they've had 4 yellow cards, I think, in the last 4 games.
Scotland attacking on the halfway line. Is there enough time for Scotland to score twice? They need 2 converted tries. They've not looked like scoring all this second half. And Kyle Steyn runs into Gary Ringrose as Scotland try and put some phases together for the first time in this second half. They'll rue what's happened after half time, but the Irish power's just been too relentless. 17-6, 4 minutes to go. Lovely into players. George Horne goes dancing into the 22. Matt Fager said he goes the wrong way. He goes left when he could have gone right. Russell flings it out to Ashman, who's back on the pitch. Gallant stuff from the Scots. Most likely in a losing cause, but they have given it everything in Dublin. Matt Fagerson again drives over the 22. Sutherland, as the Aviva Stadium roars itself into St Patrick's Day. Andy Christie, he's upended. 14-man Ireland with Harry Byrne in the bin. Hugh Jones gets away. That's brilliant. What an incredible try. Hugh Jones under the post. A quite stunning effort from a man who so often scores stunning tries. Russell's just got to drop the goal, surely, Fraser.
Game on.
I don't know why he's even taking the tee, because they're up against 14, 17-13. Maybe Finn's just thinking there's plenty of time, but
France 2017, he went to take a quick one in front of the post and it fell off. And,
okay, there he goes. He's put the ball over.
Well, he's prodded it over. What a try, Hugh Jones. Wow, what a thrilling 2.5 minutes to go. Back to Man City, John Murray.
Where it is, Manchester City 2, Newcastle 0. 6 minutes played in the second half, and the second half has picked up exactly where the first left off. So huge City domination. Doku with a chance that was well saved by a diving Dubravka, and Manchester City in charge with those 2 deflected Bernardo Silva goals in the first half. 2-0 to Manchester City.
Thanks, John. With you and Chris Waddle shortly. But what a thrilling conclusion. It looked like Ireland were just steamrolling their way, gradually, not spectacularly, but they were getting there to that title. They still are going to probably get the title with a losing bonus point, even if Scotland do something special. But Scotland, 4 points down with a man advantage and a first Triple Crown on the line in 34 years. Jack Dempsey steps out the tackle. Fraser, have Scotland got something in them here?
Well, they need to get out of here fast. And oh, here we go.
Oh, they're almost away. They're breaking the Irish line now. Unbelievably. They've barely been able to throw a punch this second half. Russell, lovely ball out to Jones, who's off again, the try scorer. What a threat he is with the ball in hand. Ireland looking to steal, but just about back on the Scottish side. Remember, Scotland have a man advantage and they lose it. They lose it through Fagerson. Listen to the Aviva as Christie goes back. That'll be advantage over. No, it won't. Matt Carley decides it wasn't. Or Fraser, I wonder if that would have been advantage over another time. Ireland scrum, and they may just about have managed to withstand that Scottish flurry.
Yeah,
1 minute to go.
Scotland. Well
Ireland
done.
17, Scotland 13.
Well done
Tommy.
to Scotland, bringing it right to the death here. 4 points in it. Ireland look like the championship well and truly won at this stage. Who knows what could happen? Scotland, of course, could go and score, but a little error there kind of sums up Scotland's day. They've had so many opportunities, they've thrown everything at it, but those little errors at key moments will really come to hurt them.
Yeah, and I just think it was that control at the start of the second half that's cost Scotland. You know, that Irish onslaught was coming on again and again and again.
It's staying as a yellow, Harry Byrne. It's kind of immaterial because he's got to miss the rest of the game, but he won't now, unless it gets cited and overturned, he won't get a ban now for that yellow card. So no red card, Harry Byrne. Ireland are a minute away from the Six Nations title, but that Hugh Jones try, they had to be error-free, didn't they, Fraser? Ireland just about are going to get there. Listen to the noise, Tommy. Another famous day in Irish rugby.
Back-to-back Six Nations is just incredible from this Irish team. They've played some wonderful rugby. There was such hurt, such disappointment going in as the number one team in the world into the World Cup, with hopes that they could make it all the way, hopes that they could just make it past that ceiling of a quarter-final. Unfortunately, that was dashed by an incredible New Zealand performance. But they've come back in this Six Nations, they've rebuilt, they've regrouped, they've brought some new young players into the organisation. And to win a championship here in Dublin is a really special moment for Ireland. They're singing out the fields of Athenry. It was the zombie over in France, but Ireland can be so proud of this team. They've done this country very, very proud.
They're going to get there, Ireland. The clock is dead. James Lowe kicks it into the stand, and everyone's on their feet. Another famous day for Irish rugby, another St Patrick's weekend party in Dublin. They've got there in the end. It wasn't vintage. It wasn't overwhelming and convincing. Scotland dogged to the point of heroism, but Ireland win 17-13. They go back to back, and their dominance of European rugby continues. Ireland win the 2024 Six Nations. Ireland 17, Scotland 13, Tommy Bowe.
The champions, Ireland. What an unbelievable Six Nations it's been. I think the points difference of plus 90 points, which is just remarkable for a country where rugby is probably the third biggest, most played sport. But this team, they're unbelievably professional. They're led by a talismanic leader in Andy Farrell and Peter O'Mahony, a man who we're not too sure whether we'll see in the green jersey again. If this is his last time to represent his country, he can be unbelievably proud because he has left every inch of his body out there, and he will be so happy to lift that trophy. But you know what, the whole country, any of his former teammates, his current teammates, his family, there's no better man to have led his country than Peter O'Mahony. Absolutely delighted for him. Well done to Ireland, two-time back-to-back Six Nations champions.
And their celebrations here, Fraser Brown, they're not raucous from the Ireland players. It's not like they would have been if it'd been a Grand Slam. They were pushed to the well, weren't they, by Scotland? We asked whether Scotland could hang in there, and they really did. And for them to score last, despite all that Irish pressure, brave, perhaps damning with faint praise, but Scotland do deserve a lot of praise today.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way Scotland played in the first half, they were excellent. You know, Ireland came out after half-time and they clearly had the bit between their teeth, and the pressure they exerted on Scotland for 25-30 minutes in the second half just took its toll. But Scotland, as another campaign of what-ifs for Scotland, you know, an extra pass against France, you know, a non-performance against Italy. They could have been coming here with something more on the line. But what a game of rugby, you know, not a classic in terms of maybe the attacking game that was on show. You know, there wasn't a lot of tries in it, but what a fantastic game. What a defensively from Scotland, what a fantastic game, and just the physicality of it. And I think just the accuracy of Ireland at the end. You know, they show why they're the best team in the competition. They show why they're so comfortable with ball in hand, why that pressure tells. And at the end of the day, they just had enough. They had enough to try and squeeze Scotland in that second half.
Credit to Scotland. They came here with an awful lot of pressure. A lot of people wondered, could they live with the intensity, the speed of this Irish team who are chasing a championship? But Scotland were amazing. You know, they weren't able to get that triple crown which they so deeply wanted, but they pushed Ireland all the way, and they should be really well rewarded and congratulated for that.
Right, a lot of focus here, Mark Chapman, on Peter O'Mahony, the Ireland captain. May well have been his last time in green, and if it is, he's gone out on a high. Another huge day for Irish rugby in Dublin. They've won the Six Nations title. They've beaten Scotland 17-30.